you all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another episode of The Friendship University. The podcast where we come on here and just spill our guts for God knows why, hoping that it will encourage you all to be better, because we are all trying to be better every single day. And I'm a big proponent. I feel like Tarrah is also a big proponent of people being our greatest resource. And we just want to encourage you to know that you don't have to get to where you're trying to go alone. Another episode. We made it. We made it again. How you doing, Tarrah?
I'm
How you
great.
doing?
How you doing? No, I'm just joking. Hi.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm well. God is good. He's a miracle
Come
worker.
on.
He's a mind regulator. He's a heart fixer. He's a chain breaker. He's a way maker.
Don't make our praise
It's
dance
a
right
praise dance.
now.
It's a praise dance for me. It's the praise dance for me. Okay. He's all
I
those things
never
and
praise
more.
dance, y'all. That's a ministry I never been a part
She's praise
of.
dancing. Period. No, God is good. He's incredible, and that's all I can say. That's all
All
that I
that I
can
can
say.
say.
Come on,
Do
Mary.
do 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 do.
How about you? How are you,
I'm tired.
Kristen? Are you? Just tell the truth. I was
I'm
tired.
tired. I was tired, boss.
Mm-hmm.
I have been so. I feel like you can relate to this a little bit. As a creative, sometimes we're already doing a lot of projects at once, right? And then an idea, whether the whole will hit you, and you be like, I want to do that too. And then you're thinking it's like a battle in your mind. You're like, I'm still trying to get my footing with the thousands of ideas over here. And now you're going to hit me with another idea. And now I got to add 1001. Like, how many ideals do I have to have at one time? I'm tired. I like, so I'm doing this and I'm like, I'm still trying to get my foot in. Cause your girls are working. We're working full time. We're doing the things. We're doing what we need to do. I'm believing God that this will soon become full-time job. I will have a production company, and this podcast will be up under that, and we'll have videography and photography and all kinds of stuff. But I got another idea for something. I was doing something, and I was like, "Oh, that's good." And I literally spent maybe like an hour and a half working through this idea, and I'm like, "This is." And then I sat back to myself, and I saw myself, and myself said, "Huh?" And I said, "Where are we supposed to get the time for this? You're already swimming a little bit above water right now." But I think there's a little bit of realization we can do within ourselves to really take inventory of the way we're spending our time, of the way we're spending our
So
days, and
good.
where
That's so
that
powerful.
time can come into. Um, which draws back to conversations we had before. That work is not easy. I had to look at myself and be like, you actually could make the time if you really wanted to. And I didn't really want to hear that from myself, but it was myself telling myself that's what I'm supposed to do. So, yeah, but I asked Tarrah, boss, but I'm still in the game. Still doing what needs to be done. I went on a nice walk. I
Ooh,
found
love a
a
good walk.
trail. Yeah. In my new city, I made a friend. I
Yeah.
made an associate at this point. We're not friends. I'm not going to use that term just yet. That relationship's still being built. They
Mm-hmm.
really have been here almost 2 years. So I told them that I was really into outdoors and just being in nature. And so they introduced me to a really nice trail that had these beautiful waterfalls. And I live in the city part of my town. So you don't think that that could potentially exist, right? I'm surrounded by buildings and traffic and all kind of stuff, restaurants and all that. But it was about 20 minutes from my house, free parking, which I love. And it was a nice trail. So that was really nice to go on Saturday. And then I came home and I started playing my game, which thoroughly upset me. I have been trying to beat. So I'm playing Super Mario Wonder right now, which is a game on the Nintendo Switch. And I have beat it. I'm in now what you would consider master mode. So master mode unlocks all these secret levels and all this stuff. And this secret level really is the secret is actually not a secret. The secret is out that I can't beat it. I'm like trying my best, but it is got your girl plagued a little bit. I'm trying my best, but that's how I decompress. People who try to shame people for playing video games when you're an adult, I don't get it. You're weird. Let these people have their outlets if it's not interfering with what they do on a day-to-day basis. I have very much so designated times that I play my games and I make sure it doesn't interfere with anything. Sometimes you just need something mindless. Maybe it's mindless TV.
Mindless.
Maybe it's you. Maybe your guilty pleasures. You like to look at reality TV. I myself have indulged in a Housewife or two, or Love Island, or I like to. I use my brain all day, every day,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
so to come and just sit down and not have to think about something can be a little bit relaxing. It's like a decompressor.
Mm-hmm.
But this Mario Brothers is not doing that for me, so I may have to lay off of it for a while because it's blowing me. I'm really working my tail off trying to beat this level. But outside of that, I've been good. Everything's been good, great, good in the hood.
Mm. Wow. The secret. So many things you said it triggered things when you were talking. You remember that guy that said that song? What was his
Which
name?
song?
He used to sing "The Secret Is Out," but he really couldn't sing.
Oh, I
Cat,
know who you're
what's
talking about. I can't remember his name. I remember, but I think that was like a one-hit
and
wonder,
he
wasn't
had a video and everything. He was like,
it?
the secret is out. He used to sing, what's his name? I can't remember his
Did you talk about
name.
the light skinned dude?
Not a
I think he was
brown
light
skinned guy with the
skinned.
glasses. And he couldn't
Oh, maybe I'm not
sing.
thinking about the
It
same
all
person.
started from a video in church, and he had sang a song like acapella and everything. Nobody could follow him because he was just like that off key. And in the back, the musicians was laughing. This is how this came out. This video, probably his name is, I can't remember. I cannot remember his name.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't think I
This
remember
was
that.
like this went viral before viral. Before viral, before
Mm.
Vine. It was like on YouTube when
This was like
YouTube first started.
YouTube.
Crash Cage or something.
Let me
Y'all
see.
know, if y'all know who I'm talking about, it was terrible. He could not sing, but he really believed in himself and he had a video and everything. Anyway, but yes. And that reminded me of the time when my sister had beat Super Mario Brothers and she was playing it. Did I tell you this story?
I don't
And
think
our
I've heard
neighbor, she
this.
was on like the last level, right?
Hmm. Don't. I feel like you about to piss me. Don't piss me off. Go ahead. Tell me this, because I feel like I know where this story is going.
It
It's
was
going
on
to.
Nintendo, right? Remember
Yep.
how you used to put your game on pause with the
Pause.
screen?
Let me pause break. because y'all kids got it good now. You can save. Back in the day, there was no save. Your level was your level. I had paused the game one time. I was playing with my sister and she had to go to a baseball game. So she went to that baseball game. 6 hours I had to leave that game paused. I had beat the level right before. We had been trying to beat that level for weeks. I beat that level. She came back. We died immediately.
Okay. Right. So remember on Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers had Super Mario Brothers 3, and that's when you went to the
Mm-hmm.
different worlds. It was like the
Mm-hmm.
sand world, the water world, the ice.
Yup.
So my sister on the last world, I think it's like the ninth world. She been doing this for like 2 weeks. Our neighbor came on. He said, oh, you left your game on.
He did not turn it off. He did not turn. He came into y'all house and turned y'all game off.
Oh, you
No,
left your game on. He said it out.
no.
My
The
sister said,
level of anger.
oh, her head exploded and he ran. When I say that boy ran out the front door of my house, slammed the door and ran all the way home. When I say that joke was so funny,
I would
oh
have
my God, I
probably
can see
turned
it to
into
this
the
day.
Hulk. I would have turned into. There's an episode.
She she
I would
like
have.
turned into like
I would
it.
have
She
been
said, ah!
irrationally irate. Like my head,
She was
it would have been a
irate.
Looney Tunes episode. My
She
head
was
would have probably spun
beyond.
and blown up.
Yeah, I think her head spun around. Like she was beyond
Your joke,
irate.
that see, no, what? I,
Oh, he ran all the
I,
way home.
that
He wasn't
anger.
even. He wasn't even our neighbor. He was our. He was our. But he was like, you know how you had them neighbors around the corner. So our best friends were these twins, right? Nina and Delisa. He was their cousin, so he used to come visit. So he wasn't even like our real
You didn't even
neighbor.
live in the neighborhood.
No. Baby, when I say that boy ran all the way, that joke was funny to
I
me.
would have
Oh my God.
probably. I don't even. I. I don't even know. I don't even know what I would have done
I was
because
never good at the
I would
games.
have really been like, it would have had to take the fear of God to bring me down from the elevation of anger I would have felt if somebody did
Girl.
that to me. Oh,
Oh, you left your game on.
let me tell you a similar story, and this is actually more recent than younger. Which
You left your
let me
game
tell you
on.
how friendships can be tested by games, right? You really so the producer on the back end. We have a mutual friend, and she's a gamer. Her whole family are gamers. She got brothers that been gaming, so they got games, history, GTA, all kind of stuff that's built up.
Wow.
We were gaming at her house one day, and something came up where it was like the system wasn't working, and so she was like, "No, nah, hold on, let me do this." Don't. A message came up. It was something along the terms of, "Would you like to just reset?" We know reset. You never, I guess maybe you don't know this if you don't work in tech. Reset is the last option that you
Yeah,
ever
you
want to
lose
do.
everything.
You'll lose everything. So she was like, don't press it. Let me just. He was like, nah, it should be fine. And it deleted everything on the system. I'm talking about 10 plus years of gaming gone in the matter of 60 seconds. We literally sat there in silence for like 5 minutes because what was I going to say? I looked at her. I looked at him. I looked at the screen. I looked back at her. I looked back at him. I looked back at the screen. Then I just looked out the window for about 5 solid minutes. Because what am I supposed to do? I just knew at that point she was going to tell him to get the HE double hockey sticks out and never come back. But true friendship, it scathed the test of times, and now all things are good. And it's a funny story we can tell. But at that point, I was like, I felt like she was
Oh,
gonna turn into your sister. Like her head was gonna just spin around the block, and it was just gonna be madness. That's crazy. Don't touch things that don't belong to you. That's the moral of this
Don't touch
story.
people games, please.
Don't
Please. The more of the
don't even
story.
touch things that don't belong to you. It doesn't belong. Why are you walking in my house talking about, oh, you left your game on?
Oh, you left your game on, dude.
I feel like that boy knew what he was doing. He probably liked your sister and
Maybe
was
he
trying
was
to be
very
mean.
worrisome. He
He
was
probably was
very
trying to be
worrisome.
mean.
He was a very
Yeah.
worrisome child. We used to wrestle. I cannot believe I used to wrestle that boy. He was probably like 3 years older than me. When I say we used to all wrestle like maniacs, like WWE, and the fact that y'all let us do this, why was y'all letting us wrestle like WWE?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't think today's kids are doing that. If you have
Baby,
siblings, tap in. Let us know if
it
you
was
because me and my
WWE
sisters,
SmackDown.
we used to fight. Like
Fight!
I'm pretty. The sibling closest in age to me is around 7 or 8 years plus my senior. So we weren't really close in age, but we used to WWE
I
smack
mean,
down. I'm talking about pushing you down the steps, pushing you into walls. Your head is now a banister fixture in the like we used to really fight, and I do not
who we used to
understand.
fight? You used to fight something awful. I mean, we used to fight. Well, I didn't get a lot of whoopings, but one of the whoopings I got was for me and my sister. My daddy had enough. He had
Enough.
enough.
Yeah, enough. Nope. You ain't gonna not give me peace in the house I pay for. I get it now.
But the sad thing, they be watching TV and we be wrestling right in front of them, just
Cause
wrestling.
your brain
I
just
can't
turned
breathe,
off.
and they just used to let us.
Say, my
I'm
parents used to just sit
dying,
there. They
and just
used to,
let
I
us do it.
know they heard us upstairs but
Rumbling.
rumbling. And they just let it happen. Because they knew eventually we would tire out, we would just
Yeah,
tap out, and then that would be the end. But
they
they,
did.
yeah, you
But
talk,
that one
yeah,
day, my daddy had enough. He had enough. I'm going to get my belt. And he went to
scurrying like roaches with the light on, just scurrying. I don't want to get a whooping. I don't want a whooping.
tired of it.
He had
Oh,
had enough. I
Brian,
get
he
it
was
now.
tired of it. He
I
was
get
sick
it.
of it. He was sick of
I'm not a parent, but I have a lot of
it.
nieces and nephews, and I have a set in particular that are
He was
close
sick
in
of it.
age, and they be tussling and arguing and stuff, and I'll be like, "Shut up!
He
Enough!
was sick of it. He was sick of
Enough!"
it. Oh my God. We used to just wrestle. What was wrong with us? I don't know what
I
that was
can't even
about.
tell you what that was about. Honestly, I don't. I know. I know a
Sitting
piece
on
of
my
it.
sisters used to sit on my head so I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. My sisters told me I was adopted. My sisters told
Everybody's
me I
sister
was
told them they was
adopted.
adopted.
My sisters used to make me go to the mailbox and get the mail. They would lock me out when I would come back. They'd be like, "Go get the mail," and I would come back to the door locked. And they'd be like, "Because you're an orphan." Because nobody. And I'm like, "Why are you?" I'm thinking, "Why are you telling me? I'm your
That is what
sister.
siblings
Why
do.
are you
That is
doing
what
this to
siblings do.
me?" We had these. My parents had gone to Africa before we were born, and brought back these like really beautiful carved sculpture pieces that they had on the wall. They were like masks almost. And my
Mm-hmm.
sisters used to turn all the lights off and take them things off the wall and terrorize me around the house. Like they would cut all the lights off, and then like one would be cut flicking the light on and off so I could see it
Oh
coming.
my
It
God,
was
like
like a
Shaka
big.
Zulu.
It was
You
big.
know
Yes,
my sisters made me watch Shaka Zulu and it scared the crap out of me. And they used to go,
I watched
Shaka,
I think the very
Shaka,
first I think the very first scary movie I
Shaka,
watched was with
Shaka.
was with my sisters, and it was Friday the 13th. I think that's why I'm so desensitized to horror movies now, because like I could you telling me I'm watching a film about not being able to go to sleep? Like I can't even go to sleep because if I go to
Baby,
sleep this man going to terrorize me in my dreams and kill me.
baby,
Yeah,
baby.
it was what. Don't be so terrible to your siblings. They can turn out to be your very best friends if you let
Yeah,
them.
we love each
We
other now,
cool
but at the
now,
time,
but when you're young,
you
I
wait.
know I used to terrorize my sister though. Being so young, and you just want to be around her, right? You just like she's
Yeah.
older, and you kind of idolize her, but you don't want to say
Yeah, for sure.
that. And
100% you do
yeah,
idolize it.
for
For
sure.
sure. For sure. I remember one time, I feel like it's a funny story, so I'll briefly go through it. But my sister, she was older, and she was at the time, she could go out, like go clubbing and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But, she had a curfew, and
What you do to your sister?
she,
I think I know this
she
story.
knocked on the window.
Oh.
It was past her curfew, and she knocked on my window.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Come let me in the back door." And I go to the back door, and she's at the back door. She's like, "Oh, okay, open the back door." It's late. And so, but I didn't have the strength to open it. Like I kept trying, but like our back door was so like you had to like lift it a little bit and like turn
It
it,
was heavy.
and it was a heavy door, and I didn't have the strength. And so I said, "I know, I'll go get Daddy." And my sister was like, "No, no, no, don't get Daddy, no, no." But I thought I was helping her. And I said, "I know, I'll go get Daddy. He can do it."
Not Eureka! I got it.
And I went and got my daddy. And he started yelling. And I was like, "Oh
No,
no,
not
I'm
I
going to
got it.
the
Not all him. Not I got the cure. See, oh, I
He
haven't seen
started yelling. He
yes.
started going in. And I was like, "Oh no, what did I do? I'm so sorry. I didn't know."
It's like an animated film. What did
Oh,
I do?
I
Oh no.
felt so terrible. I felt so terrible. She didn't
I'm
talk to
sure
me
she
for a
tried to
minute.
make your life
Oh, she did not talk
terrible.
to me. She was like, I was like, "Candy, nah, go get Daddy. Ask Daddy."
Not as daddy. I was trying to help. First of all, how you mad at
You
me?
ask Daddy everything else. Go ask Daddy. Oh my God, you talking about a hot mess. I felt so bad when he started yelling. Oh, I felt so bad.
Something
Oh man,
similar had happened to me too, where we had a
oh my
door with a key. We had a key, and they was trying to get in. They was like, "Go get the key." I didn't know where the key was. I thought it was in our parents' room. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to mom and daddy room and get the key. And they was
God.
like, "Don't go get that. Don't do it." But I didn't go. I was just like, oh,
I know. I'll go get that. He can
"Eureka!
open it.
I got it." Ooh
Hot mess.
wee.
She
I know
was
she
so
was
bad.
fire truck hot red
Oh my
911.
God, so funny. Oh my
That's
God.
our sibling. Maybe one day we'll talk about
Oh
siblings,
my
and
God. And then me and my sister's best friends. But when you young, you just be doing
they hated me because I was the youngest. They felt like
stuff.
I got everything. They felt like I was spoiled, and I was. My parents were tired. Sometimes they just get to the end of the road and they just
And
be
they be like,
tired.
it's whatever. I ain't
Do
nothing.
whatever you. I wasn't bad though. I really, for me, I feared getting in trouble, so I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not, because not to put all my family business out, but my siblings did some stuff, and I would see the repercussions of their actions. Like one of my sisters was the definition of a wild child. I can say that. Driving my parents up the wall, and I saw, and I was like, I don't want to get choked out. I don't want that. I don't want these problems. I'm gonna just go to school, do well, do my after school activities, have a
And be out.
and be out. Why do I have to put myself through that? And then, but also too, my parents were just like, I mean, they did this with my siblings too, so I really don't know. But they were very vocal with me, so they were just things I already knew. Like I was going to STD and sex workshops when I was like 13, because my mom is like in the medical industry,
Mm-hmm.
working. So it's just like I knew what that was. I knew what could happen. So I'm like, you
Yeah.
want to do what? Put what? No. HIV is real, first of all, because X amount of people have this disease, and I'm not gonna be one of those people. So you want me to have a baby, is what you're saying. So you want me to be 15 and have a baby, is what you're saying. No, absolutely not. It's not for me. Keep it in your pants. We'll talk. Get off my phone. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, siblings are, mm-mm.
They make you who you are. Being
They
in a
make you
like
strong.
birth order, yeah, I think birth order affects
I
a
think it
lot
does
of
too.
how your personality develops.
Hmm.
For
That
sure,
first
for sure.
sibling is really strong.
Strong,
No, take no
responsible,
met,
yeah.
responsible a lot of times. for
Yeah.
sure. I think if you're in like the if you're in like the 2 to 4 or 3 to 4 category, those middle children, I feel like sometimes are looking for, like, they maybe felt neglected a little bit. Sometimes
The
maybe they're
invisible
like,
child, they say.
yeah, the invisible child for sure. Because it's like, especially if y'all are close in age, like
Mm-hmm.
a few years, because then the new baby comes and it's like, the attention's on the new baby. I'm really not paying attention to the older sibling because I feel like they're responsible enough to take care of themselves, but they're also pitching in to help with the new baby. And yeah, so I think there are definitely some ties to where you fall
Mm-hmm.
in your lineage of sibling
Mm-hmm.
that tie to the kind of characteristics and the person that you can become,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, for sure. Because
I really didn't understand like my parents like growing up, I guess, like it wasn't until I got
nobody
nieces,
does really.
but it wasn't until I got nieces and nephews. Like my sister has my nephew, one sister, the oldest has one son, and then my other sister has um, two girls and a boy. And I didn't, but I was there when they were born, so like I was around to like help raise them and just be there, as another part of their community. And I didn't really understand how they could love us all the same, but all uniquely. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, you can't possibly love us all the same, but like differently.
The way
And they
we
would say
need to
that.
be loved.
Yeah, they would say that it was, and I would be like, "Who's your favorite?" Because I'm your favorite. And I was like,
Which
"I
is,
love
why
y'all
would
all
we
the
do
same."
that? Why would
I
you
don't know.
ask your
I don't
parents
know.
that? I
I
used
don't
to
know
ask
why.
that too. I'm like, I'm your favorite, right? You
I'm
can
your
say
favorite,
it, it's fine.
but she would say, "No, I love y'all all the same, but y'all just different." And so it wasn't
Hmm.
until like I niece and nephew, and I'm like, I love them all the same, like equally, but just differently. Like I love
Like, they
different
all
things.
hold the same piece of real estate in your heart, but
Yes,
it's
but they're just
just
different.
different. Yeah.
And I just appreciate things, unique things about all of them, where it's just like, the smallest one, she's spicy and funny and like, and then the middle one, he's so sweet and kind and
That's the one that be walking you to
caring.
your door, making sure you
He
get it.
walked me to my door.
He's like,
And
just want
the
to make sure you're okay.
And the oldest is so caring and sacrificial, and she reminds me of my oldest sister. She does like
Hmm.
all motherly, very nurturing, looks out for
Wow.
everyone, takes care of
Yeah.
she's like a caretaking.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, y'all all are so special and unique, but y'all all different. And I love you
Yeah.
equally, but differently. Like I appreciate different things in all of you. So
Yeah.
that's wow. I don't have children of my own. I look forward to that one day, but just I didn't know that that was possible, and I didn't understand that concept until they came along into my
Yeah,
life.
same. I would say the same for sure. All of my nieces and nephews are vastly different. They have
Mhm.
different personalities, but they know they can call me, get the same response, get the same
Mhm.
love, get everything. I think another thing, maybe this could be the last thing about it. This is more so about the parents. I think you said something like how you didn't realize about your parents when you were young. I would just really want to make it clear that as you get older, you start to realize your parents were human beings too. That they're
Man, so true.
humans, they have their own desires, they had dreams, aspirations, goals, different things. Maybe they had to sacrifice to have the fit. Like, so that for me, that leans a little bit more grace that you can have. I think
Oh
we're in a
yeah.
culture right now where people are so quick to cut people off
Oh
and
my
just
God.
dead it and just go ghost, block them, do all that. But this podcast is really about the foundations of relationship building and knowing that people are your greatest resource and they're not disposable the way that we try to make it seem like they are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
things, friendships, relationships, they're worth fighting for in a
Oh,
lot of
so true.
instances. And so to just think that the people who gave you life, the people who brought you here, the people who did really the best, in a lot of instances, the best that they could with what they
Yeah.
had, um, it's not worth letting the culture or society tell you that they're not worth anything or that they could have done better, or that when we look at our own lives and the way that we treat people and the way that we show up every day, there are hundreds of instances I'm sure you could say where you could have shown up better. Taking
Yes.
care
Oh
of a
my
human
God.
being is not a small feat. I'm trying to keep plants alive and I'm stressed. Help me, Lord. Like, I'm like, I moved across the country and one of my plants died. I mourned it. A plant. I had grown that plant for like 3 years. 3 years I had watered it. It was my baby. It was like one of my very first real plants that I was like, okay, I really have to pay a lot of attention to you and take care of you. And it did not do well on this cross country trip. And I
Oh.
got here and I'm trying to nurture it back to life. It's actually hanging up above me. I'm trying to nurture it back to life. I lost a lot. And I'm like, so it's people out here responsible for whole human beings, making sure they eat, sleep, wake up, get dressed, get to where they need to go, get their shots. Have like that is not small. So we got to lend a little bit of grace to the humans that are doing the best that they can. I don't think when you have titles attached to people, sometimes you don't see them as human beings. You see them as that title or whatever's tied to that title or definition. And you got to give a little bit more grace to the
Yeah.
people. They're doing the
Yeah.
best that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I want to talk a little bit. I don't know if you saw, but Usher is being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's BET Awards, right? Which is great,
Mm-hmm.
amazing. When they do those, they have a tribute. So I was
Oh, this ought to be
wondering,
good.
what would be your desired person to see as paying tribute to Usher?
Oh, that's
Usher,
tough.
Usher. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I know Chris Brown would be fair, but I don't think they get along, do they?
I don't think I've heard any beef between him and Chris Brown. Got a lot of beefs. I don't think he got beef with Usher. I've never heard that, but it could be true.
I'm trying to
Maybe.
think of
But Chris
performance
Brown is a
wise.
good. Chris Brown is good. I think. Let me see.
It's tough because Usher is such a good dancer and such a good.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like a lot of people that might be one or the other. Maybe they
Yeah.
are good dancers but not great singers, or great singers but not the best dancers.
Yeah.
I think Omarion, as far as like dancing, he's cool and like
Yeah.
like swag and all that, but he's not the best singer.
I mean, we know this.
So
You don't have to say it. We all
I,
watched the Versus. We synced it. I
as
mean, he
far as
wasn't.
like who can sing like Usher,
The mic don't have to be. I don't do it. I mean, we could do a pre-recording, maybe. Can we just like
who
pre-record it?
could
I would
who could
like to see.
I
I
don't
think
know anybody.
he's older, and so I don't know if the person today in the present would be good, but I think the younger Genuine would have been a good option for that. Like I feel like a younger
Like in those jeans,
Genuine,
genuine.
yeah, like a even maybe yeah, like a in yeah. He may not be strong, the strongest. I wouldn't say he's strong pretty vocally, but I feel like the movement he could really give like if he's coming out to do the bops from Usher, like the pop, like the yeah, yeah, like he would really, I feel like, be able to
Like
give that.
genuine, he
Yeah.
can't get like genuine right now.
No, I said younger.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
back in the
like
day, back in
maybe
the day.
not the
But I
not
mean, like right now, who could do it right now? I don't know nobody who could do it justice. I'm trying to really, really think who
yeah.
can really sing and dance like Usher, like
Um
other than like Chris Brown.
Maybe like a Mario.
I was thinking Mario. I was thinking
Maybe
Mario
like
as
a
far as like
Mario. Maybe a
maybe
Neo.
Avery Wilson can sing like his slow
Avery
songs.
Wilson could do the slow
Yeah,
from the
he could sing
yes,
the
that's
songs, the
good.
slow songs. I've heard him sing Usher before, and he sounded really good. So I feel like he could sing, but I wouldn't say that he should do
But you
like
know
the
the the
dance.
the
Uh,
um the tribute is normally a culmination of a lot of artists, so it'd be more
right.
than one person. So maybe they
What's
could
the
do that.
What's the guy who's the dark skinned guy that be singing on a lot of tributes? Um.
You could be that could be anybody, Tara.
Uh, he's an actor too. Um.
You're talking
I
about.
can't think of his name, but
If we're transcending, I think a Justin Timberlake may be okay as well. I think a Justin Timberlake with the dancing aspect, like
I would. I just
he could do the beginning Usher, like the before prior to 8701, like the My Way. She likes it my way. You can't hear Justin singing that and dancing to it. I
no.
could
I
see
don't want to
that.
see Justin on the beach.
I'm saying
I just have no desire to see him. I'm sorry.
a Sierra,
No desire to see
maybe a
Justin
Sierra,
Timberlake on the BT words.
maybe Sierra.
You know who I think honestly that I would feel comfortable and I'd be like, okay, they did a good job. Not Sierra, Tiana Taylor. I feel like she would do a good job.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I feel like she would
Tiana
do a good
Taylor
job.
would be good. Tiana
Yeah,
Taylor
I
is a
think.
good job for sure.
Yeah, I think Tiana Taylor would be dope. I even think Janelle Monae would be dope.
You
Not
could
Janelle
see
Monae.
Janelle
Not Janelle.
Monae, but you
Not Janelle
can't
Monae.
see.
Not
I'm
Janelle
like,
Monae. The what's the girl? What's the girl? What's the girl that sing? Oh my mama. Oh my
oh, you
mama.
talking about
Victoria Monet.
Victoria Monet.
I think she would do good. I think Tiana Taylor
Victoria
would do
Monet would
good.
be good. Yeah.
Victoria Monet would be good.
Let's do four. So we got Victoria
I
Monet, we
think
got Tiana
Tiana Taylor,
Taylor.
Victoria. I think the rest should be guys.
Mario, I think should be in
Mario
there.
could do it. I think Mario could do a good job.
Mario. Um
Mario.
uh, I please, please. Okay. I would be hard
I can
pressed
tell
to
you
put
who
it.
we do. Who people don't
What?
want, they don't want Alicia Keys because they gave her the business after the Super Bowl. Let that lady
Let
live.
that lady live. Y'all ain't on stage singing a cappella
Y'all
with a
don't know what it's
keyboard. You
like
don't know what it's like.
judging
That
her
lady,
every
that
note.
lady gave y'all songs in the A key and minor, and y'all was on her tail. She do one bad note, now all of a sudden she never could sing. She
She
just never
cracked.
could sing.
I said, dang, Alicia, that
People was
first
like, "Oh,
note.
black don't crack, but voices do." That's rude. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
First of all, she's mixed. She's a mixed person.
That don't take away her blackness though. If she got easily, that's a question I had. I ain't never looked up her
She's
genealogy.
mixed. She's a mixed race.
Is she mixed with black though, or is she
Yes, she
just
is. She is. I
is she
believe her
so she
father is
Afro
African.
Latina? So she Afro Latina.
No. She's
Black
mixed.
and white. She black
Mm-hmm.
and white. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
gonna say
mean,
the fourth person. Honestly, you talk about who you don't want to see. Someone worse than that is Ray J. Till my baby's born. Till my baby's born. Till
I
my baby's born.
wish they
No.
would put Ray J up there. I should be
I
the
could
one.
see Omorion. I'm gonna give Omorion a four.
That's
I
what I'm
could see
saying. I really
Omorion.
could
I
see
could see
Omarion.
an
I really
Omorion.
could see Omarion. I think
I think that's the four.
I think Omarion would do a
I
really
think he
great
would do good.
job. I think he just need to probably sing before, do a
Do a
like
track before and don't have
do
the
a
mic
track,
on. And that's
do a
okay.
track, and sing to the track. And I think Omarion will be good because I feel like Omarion got the moves and he got the
Hmm.
swag to like do that tribute,
Yeah, that's a big thing
right?
people don't realize. Usher's moves are not just moves, they're
That
swag.
be it's
It's
swag.
like
It's not
very
just like
much
choreo.
so.
It's
Yes, it's not robotic. It's
it's
very
not.
much like
It's a feeling. It's just je ne sais quoi. It's like he has
yeah,
that. So I
yes.
think what would be fair, what would be great, Omarion, Chris
Omarion.
Brown,
Hmm.
Tiana Taylor, and
Victoria Monet.
Victoria Monet.
I
Now,
think
if
those are
you
good.
wanted to put Cece in there, you could. But I
For
really
just some
think
balance, maybe a
Sia,
little balance. She could
you know,
be.
she could be in there. But
She could be
I
with
think
Omarion. Her and Omarion could be
that'd be
like
hot. That'd be hot.
dancing
Her,
together.
yeah, her, Omarion, and Chris Brown. That'd be hot. Like with her in the
Yeah.
middle, that'd be hot. But
Now, what
like,
I will take is Chris Brown and Alicia Keys doing My Boo together. I think that would be
we
cute.
can leave her out. I think. I don't know that. No, 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 no.
Y'all doing my girl dirty.
No, no, no. My boo.
Y'all
No,
treat
think about
her
this.
like
Think about
J
this.
Lo,
Think
and I
about
don't
this.
like it.
Chris Brown and Sierra doing my boo together.
I
That
thought
would be
about that,
cute.
but what I'm
That'd
saying
be cute.
vocally, I thought about that. That was the first pair in my mind.
That'd
Sierra
be cute
and Chris
though.
Brown
That'd be
would be
cute.
cute, but her mic
That'd be...
cannot be on.
Sierra can sing. She
I
can
said
sing.
Sierra,
Sierra can sing about as good as
the
Alicia
Mabu.
Keys.
You think so?
To me, they're about on the same level.
I don't know about that. I feel like Alicia Keys
Mhm.
got a little bit more
She do a little bit, but it's not. It's not. To me, it's Sierra's about consistent. Sierra is consistently Sierra.
because the songs that she picks are within her range. If you think
True.
about the Alicia
Think
Keys
about my
songs,
boo.
if you think
My
about Alicia Keys'
boo.
bodies of work, you think Sierra could sing the songs that Alicia Keys been singing and
I
we'll have the
don't,
same
but
feeling?
we're not talking about all those songs. We're talking about one song.
My
Which one?
that's fair. My oh, my oh,
My
my
oh,
oh.
my boo.
Ooh.
I feel
Yeah,
like she could
that's
do
fair.
that.
That's fair.
I feel like she
Okay.
could do it, and she could be
She could do that.
dancing. That would be
And
like
she could be dancing. And
that'd
she
be
can
like
be dancing. That's
up
true.
there.
But
That'd be
see,
hot.
that's bringing a
Her
new.
and Chris Brown
They'll be
together
dead.
singing my boo.
It
That'd be
would
fire.
actually be a battle on stage. Like
That'd be
it would
fire.
be a
That'd be hot.
whole, like somebody may bring out cardboard. It'll be a
That
whole
would be
battle.
fire.
Because
And then
Chris Brown
and,
ain't backing down and Sierra ain't backing down. So they just going toe for toe dancing for 5 minutes.
then Victoria Monet
And
and
Victoria
Tiana
Monet
Taylor.
come out, and then she started doing like the hits, like the 8701, My Way, My Way.
Or
Would I say go? Say,
or
yeah.
burn or from Let It Burn, that some of that stuff from Let It Burn, she could eat that up.
Yes.
Superstar, she could do like you know,
Yes. BT,
some of
if
them
you watching,
songs.
we give you free Vice right now. Don't mess it up
BT,
like you, because
BT,
you've
BT,
messed a lot of tributes up. You've messed a
BET,
lot of
Black
tributes up.
Entertainment
BET,
Tonight. Is that what it stands for?
Black
Television Network.
Entertainment Television. You was
Okay,
close.
Black Entertainment Television.
Even though you're not black
No,
owned, but we'll
okay.
talk about that later.
Victoria Monet, Tiana Taylor.
Taylor. Tiana Taylor would tear up a ballad. But I think that she could. Tiana Taylor be on the stage
She
just
would
like
eat
this.
that up,
She would
yo.
eat that. You can't see my
She would
legs
eat
right
that
now, but I'm
up.
doing the usher walk that he
The
did.
boom,
She
boom,
would eat that up. She would eat that up.
she kill that.
She would do
She would
that.
kill
She would
that.
do
She
that. She
would.
would do
She
that.
would. She would. She
She
would eat that.
would. She would eat that
Yeah,
up.
she
I
would.
think
And
7 + 1 8.
yes, she would. She would.
I appreciate.
So
Okay, so
4 and 4.
yes, so 4 and 4. We got Tiana Taylor, we got Victoria Monet, we got Chris Brown, we got
And
Sierra,
Sierra and Omarion.
and
That's it.
Omarion. That's 5. We're gonna do five.
That's like
Five.
that's
That's it.
it.
That's the
It's
5. The
shut
Jackson
down.
5. We're
It's shut
done.
down.
That's it. Don't bring out no Mary J. Blige like y'all like to do. I love Mary, but don't do it. She's not a fit
You
for it.
need to bring out entertainers because that's what he is. So you need to bring out people who are like straight up, like full blown,
Don't
all
bring
around
out no Trey
entertainers.
Songs. I don't want to see it just
Oh
because
my
he a
God.
man. Don't do it.
Don't do
Gonna
that.
piss me off. Don't do
Don't do that. Don't do
it. Go with the 5 we said, and you ain't gonna
that.
lose. You do it
Thank
good,
you.
you'll be fine. I agree with that. I
But
agree with that.
Victoria Monet, I think she would do a good
That's a
job.
great addition. I didn't even think about her. That's good. That's a good. She gonna eat it up. She will eat
I
it
think she would
up. I
because
think
she's
so for
new, but
sure.
she's fresh, and I would like to
But
see her
she grew
do
up in that era, so she
right,
knows that music, which is why
right.
a lot of her music sounds like that to us older millennials, because we
Yes,
know we're like, oh, that sounds a lot like what we grew up listening to. I didn't
yes.
realize that until she really blew up, and I was like, why does her music have this old school feeling to it? It's
Because
because
she's
she's a part of that generation.
yeah, she's like our age. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'll give her
So
that. I'll give her that. Okay, good, 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 good.
those are my picks. Those are my
That's
picks.
your
Please
pick.
don't listen to
I
it. No
agree. I think
shade,
that's a
but
solid list. I think that's a solid list. I think that's a solid list. I think it's
I
solid.
think so.
Okay. So next
We take
thing,
our checks in cash. We take our
checks and
percentage.
cash.
Uh,
We have PayPal, Zelle. Uh,
Zelle,
if you're that broke, we can do Cash App, I
whatever
guess.
you need, whatever
Whatever you
you
need, we're available. Friendship University podcast. You can find us. We have a link tree. You can see how to give it there. Anywho, so I
my
saw this.
personal cash out.
Who?
No.
Nah, and we have GGH Beauty. We also have Tarrah Cobell on the Zelle.
I'm trying to see the airwalk. Who's finna do that?
Tiana Taylor. That's why I said
Yeah,
I
she
think
would
she
eat
would
that
eat
up.
that
She would
up.
eat that up. What if her and Chris Brown did that
Again,
together?
it's just a never ending dance battle because neither one of them is backing down.
That's
They both
dope.
gonna dance to the ceiling fall. They
That
just
needs to
gonna keep
happen.
dancing.
That needs to
He do a
happen.
flip, she gonna do a cartwheel. She do cartwheel, then he gonna have to do a split, and then it's just gonna be dance like they gonna go toe for toe. Like I love. I'm gonna just say this. I love that little dancing nigga. I love him. He's just a dancing nigga, and I love it. Chris Brown, my heart is with you. You are my prayers. I pray that you find the peace that you are seeking, because you don't have to be in this drama. First of all, you're talented. You can sing, you can dance, you can write. We know that because you be releasing
Rap
100-track
and act.
albums, rap and act. Even though they really tricked us with that movie having you on the front of the poster and you died in the 5 minutes. Pissed off about that still to this day because I went to the movie theater thinking I was going to see you and then you was gone. But
Period.
you don't have to be out here in this drama. Don't let them suck you down, young man. Like you better than this. And you light skinned. Stop acting like the life got to be hard for you. It's not hard. It doesn't have to be hard.
Ah,
Just stop. Just stop. Enough. I feel like Kev
ah.
on stage. Enough. Stop. It doesn't have to be
You
as
did not.
hard as you making
You
it.
did not say that man ain't got no problems because he likes.
I say it again. You're light skinned. You're fine. You could be. You are a talented, light skinned, light eyed dancing machine.
Oh
Stop
God.
acting like Bishop from Juice. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be crazy. Enough. Anywho, that's my little diatribe.
Oh
I'm
my
done.
God.
So Will Smith, I saw this on Twitter and I fact checked it but I thought this was really interesting. So Will Smith is the only actor in the history of Hollywood to have 8 consecutive films make more than $100 million in the box office, right?
Wow, that's impressive.
It's what's even more impressive is that over 60% of the films that he has made have grossed over 100 million. They all have been box office hits, hit
Wow.
after hit after hit. So I
Yeah.
thought it would be interesting because he has a very extensive filmography. What is your favorite Will Smith movie? He got a lot. Let me pull up the discography a little bit because I got some choices
The
myself.
first thing that comes to mind is 7 pounds. Only
Seven
because,
pounds.
only because who can act like that? He was distressed the
He
entire
was acting.
movie. And
He
I
was
was
acting.
and I was completely
Emotion.
I was completely consumed. Like the first time I seen it, I was like completely engrossed in the
That
film.
movie does pull you in.
I was so
It
into it.
does.
Like, please don't talk to me. While this movie ends, and then the end was like, what? I never saw that
Yes! Like,
coming in a
oh my
million years.
gosh.
Mind blown. like my mind was blown. Like I never in a million years saw that coming.
It's a
And
beautiful film. Let me tell you my problem with 7 Pounds. The
I could never
judgment.
watch it again.
He was just like, you want this? You want this organ? If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's a very old film, so ain't no spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
You want this organ? Let me see if you deserve this. I'm gonna look at your life.
Wild.
Why? Just give it to me. Just give it
It
to
was
me.
so wild.
but yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah, that's the
it
first thing.
was,
I could go through movies like, okay,
but I'll never
what's the
watch it
movie where he's
again.
like,
I'll never
huh?
watch it again. I'll
I'll
never watch
never watch
Seven
it
Pounds.
again.
I've watched
But
Seven
it
Pounds 3 times,
impacted
and
me.
I'm never gonna watch it again. I don't have any desire to see it again, and that's why
What,
it's not
Seven
on the top.
Pounds?
Yes,
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It was the most impactful. I can't say it was my I don't want to say it was my favorite, but it was like the movie that made me
the
go,
first come to mind.
wow.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow, the
Yeah.
range. He has the range.
So much range. I
That's
mean,
early
incredible.
on Will Smith too. I think that was like the 90s.
Yeah, he was incredible. He was incredible in that film. Incredible.
I think for me,
I
the
think that was like
first,
Denzel level for me. Like, whoa, like you're incredible.
yeah, I can agree with that. I
Yeah.
can agree
Like the
that watch
anguish, the frustration,
he
the
was in
anxiety,
distress.
the
He was
stress
in
visible on his
distress.
forehead. It was just
All
like,
the it was like,
you acting?
man,
That was acting? That's
acting,
incredible.
acting,
That's incredible.
acting. For me, I'm not gonna say this is his strongest role, like as far as like his acting ability. I'm basing it off a couple of things, right? So I'm gonna say this. For me, the first film I think about is Bad Boys 2.
I love him in
Because
Bad Boys too. I love him in
Bad
Bad Boys.
Boys 2 for me somehow manages to be better than the first, which is no small feat.
Yes, I can't wait to
You
see
a lot of
that
times
too.
that first film you chase that high, but they really took what was lacking in the first and really ran with
It
it in the
was
second.
really
Like the
good.
second one was superb. I really don't
It
have
was
any
such a good
qualms
movie.
with it. It's fast paced. You the relationship is now more buildable because of the time that's
Mhm.
passed and the changes that they've gone through in their personal lives, and just you've got Bad Boys 1 was more comical. I would say that was
Mhm.
funnier than Bad Boys 2, but the plot of Bad
Mhm.
Boys 2 was way
Was really
better.
good. It
It
really,
was
really was.
good. And then you have like action right off the rip within the first
It,
20, 30
off the
minutes.
rip.
You got Gabrielle Union. You got that like really cinematic garage scene. Martin Lawrence finding out his sister's really a secret agent. You got all of these things unfolded so quickly, and then the storyline just keeps going. You find out that there's a relationship between his best friend and his sister, and it's just like all
Mhm.
these things are unfolding. I think Bad Boys 2 was so good, and it
It
really
was.
had it
It
holds a
was.
place in my mind just based off of the sheer fact, like I said, it being able to somehow be better than the first, which the first was a box office hit.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
big in my book. I'm like Bad Boys 2. Y'all did that. They gonna have forever have a fan of me. I'm gonna see. I'll be 80 still watching Bad Boys
I
for
can't
life.
wait to see the new one. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see the new one.
I'm gonna
It should be
see it.
out soon, but
Yeah, I think it
I was
comes out
trying
in
to see it the other
July.
weekend.
I
I was
think it
trying
comes
to
out
see
in
it the
July.
other weekend. I thought it was out already. I was like,
Yeah, I think it comes out in July. I think that, but you do have a lot of. I also think about I Am Legend,
I Am Legend. That's what I was
which
thinking about.
is like you have
Oh.
this film where he really solo your cat, which is not easy. Again, having a whole film and you're like the main person, there's no other interaction, but you're still evoking these relationships with your audience. This is why this is a sidebar. I feel like what's his name from Split, James McGavery or McCoy. I think he was snubbed a little bit for Split. It's this film. He's playing like 27 different characters.
Yeah,
He's
that
got
was
a
wild.
he got a
That was
disorder, right?
wild.
And I don't feel like people really understood the range it takes for you to be able to play
Wild.
that many people in one film. Like there
That was
aren't a
rough.
lot of other people he's interacting with besides himself. So I think he
Yeah.
was snubbed a little bit on that. But yeah,
He
I
didn't
Am
get
Legend.
anything for that.
He didn't. I don't think he got anything for that. I don't think. Not
I
to my
remember
knowledge. I don't think
seeing
he
that
did.
on the
Yeah, I
plane, and I
think.
was
I
like,
think. Yeah, Split was. I think he was snubbed a little bit on that for sure. But yeah,
"Can I
I Am
say one
Legend.
movie? You know what movie I love him in? That I it's one of those movies that I just it's a feel good movie, and I watch it, keep
What?
watching. Hitch.
Hitch. I love. I do watch Hitch. I
I
revisit
will watch
Hitch.
Hitch again and
I
again. You
I
know what
have
I'm
Hitch
saying?
on DVD. I be watching Hitch. Hitch is so
Really, I love
fun.
it.
I love him. I love old buddy from Kings of Queens. Like
Yes, they're like comedic interaction. I
oh my
love
gosh,
that.
I love that. I
Yeah, it
do
was
like
such a
Hitch
good
a lot.
movie.
Hitch was funny. You
Yeah, it
had
was lighthearted. It was a very lighthearted, funny movie that you can watch over again, you know?
yeah, you had Kevin James is his name. You also had Eva Menendez, which was
Yeah,
really
they were
good.
great.
They were
Hmm.
great. I love that chemistry. It is very funny. It's
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 very
it's it's it's
light.
a very great rom com. Like you
It's
see rom
isn't it?
coms,
I
and
love
so
rom coms
yeah,
though.
I do too.
Yeah.
Some people they get a bad rap because some people think they're cheesy, but that's the
I
point.
love it.
That's the point, right? But I think has that really good balance of a little bit of like the nonsensical, like this wouldn't happen in reality, but then there's also like a reality aspect to it,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah, real. Him at the core of it. Him having his own issues. You know, he's like the
yeah,
go to. He can't even like really get his own girl. So like that was like
right.
you know,
Him like being able to help everyone, and but then he
but couldn't help
blows it,
himself. Yeah,
yeah, every single time. So
I love
that's a
that.
good one. I think that's good. Hitch is an honorable mention for sure. I think I'm looking at the filmography. Enemy of the State was good.
I don't remember any of this.
Enemy of the State is like this political powerhouse. He's like it's political corruption essentially. He's like running. It's the same with like Independence Day, right? That's still like
Oh,
political.
same kind of deal.
Like same kind of like drama, same kind of like seriousness, same kind of acting. You're like kind of on the edge of your seat a little bit through the films. You're like, what's gonna happen next? And who's gonna turn on who? Oh my god, I didn't know they were. And this person's. And so you just kind of like, and for it to be like early on in his career in the early '90s and stuff, I think those were good picks. I think Gemini Man was also good.
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw that.
Gemini Man came out in the 2000s, maybe like 2000. Let's see. Let me look on the thing. Gemini Man came out in 2019,
Hmm.
so it's relatively new. It's essentially there's a clone of him chasing him, trying to kill him. It
Interesting.
was, but for me, it sticks out because I'm like, he's a little older. 2019, he's in his 40s, 50s, I think, but he's the stamina's still there. He's still like really believable as a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As someone who could be a victor, you still like, yeah, he still has the capability of like making it out and really like
Okay.
winning this, which is good. The only reason, so I thought about King Richard because he did so well in that
Okay.
film.
He
But the only
did.
reason I'm not including that is because I feel like autobiographies, auto picks, a little bit of a cop out, right? Because it's already like a story that exists. Yes, for us to really be enamored by it, the actor does have to embody the characteristics that we feel this person has. But I think auto pick, like, you're not developing a character from scratch. Like this
Hmm.
person already exists. So I really don't ever, if somebody asks me like favorites, I don't normally include auto picks. But King Richard is a really great film for sure. I think he
I
did
do.
better in King Richard than he did in Ali.
Really? I
Hmm.
haven't seen I haven't seen Ali in so long.
He
So
did
I would
good,
need
but
to
I think he did way better in
but
King Richard.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your top, we got just two. Yours is gonna be 7 pounds.
Yeah, it was so impactful for me.
Hmm.
There's no movie like it, I feel like. There's
That's
no
true.
movie like that
No movie
movie. It's
like it.
so unique.
That's
I
true.
think Pursuit of Happiness is up there for
It's
sure.
good.
Even though it's a kind of a biopic. Um, But Seven
Seven
Pounds
Pounds,
was just
yeah.
like a stellar performance of like something that
And
sticks
the
out that
supporting
wasn't
cast was
seen.
good too. And the ending,
Yeah, the ending was like
yeah.
mind blowing. I didn't see that coming. So I think it sticks out for me just because of the kind of range he had to show, which was like an untapped range for me. I
Yeah.
had never seen a movie that the whole movie I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this character. And he is just showing all of these different, emotions without speaking.
Yeah. Which is
Like,
tough.
how do you do
Yeah.
that?
How do you
Like,
do that?
he's exuding these emotions and these feelings, but he's not talking. So to take away language, but leave this
Still
emotion
make connection.
and still connect and be able to
Hmm.
impact the viewer without
Hmm.
saying basically any lines was just like I didn't even know that was possible. So to
Yeah.
me, it just showed how good of an actor he is to not, you know, say much but still tell a story through just body language and looks, and they just did a great job telling that story
Yeah.
without words, which is like, how do you even do that? So
And
that's
I
still, I
like
think that's my favorite.
I like stories like that where you don't necessarily have to have this like huge character development to draw in a lot of people. Like, cause there's a lot of like 6 degrees of separation kind of stuff happening. And their stories aren't necessarily like made really, 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 really big,
Hmm.
like a TV show or something, but they are able. I agree. So that we don't do the same, because 7 pounds was up there for me too. I'm gonna
Hmm.
go Bad Boys 2 for mine. I'm gonna go Bad
I
Boys
love
2.
that.
Mm-hmm. Bad Boys 2. Okay. Let's see what else is up on the agenda.
Honorable mention to Men in Black because I love the song.
Here come the Men in
Ah,
Black. And I appreciated Men in Black. What I
just
didn't
bow to it. You just
appreciate,
bow to it. You know?
yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I know it ain't cinematically great, but I like the Wild Wild West. I also like the
Oh
soundtrack.
my God, I
I
forgot
love.
about Wild Wild
I
West.
like the Wild Wild West movie. It is a
There's so
ridiculous.
many
It
movies.
is a ridiculous cowboy movie. I will admit.
I
Being
don't
someone, my
remember.
dad loved westerns, so I know the Clint Eastwood. It is absolutely ridiculous, but it is so good in my book. I love it. It's funny. It's fun. I think it was supposed to be ridiculous. I think maybe that was the point. But that soundtrack too, Men in Black, Wild Wild West, love it. Men in
Get that
Black is
up.
an honorable mention for sure. You lose me with Men in Black 2 and 3 though. It's ridiculous. Um. All right. So I saw this post on I forgot where I saw it, but I wanted to have a conversation. I'm pulling it up now. Hold on 1 second. Oh, well, I do want to check. Are we good, Boocha? Everything look okay? Do we need to stop and do a second take, or what you think? All right. All right. So there's this young woman. I don't know her age, so I'm just say young woman. Called her name is Ruby Rose. I think she's like in the entertainment realm. Maybe she's a rapper. I've seen her like be put under the category of influencer. But she said something that I felt was worthy of discussing. So she recently posted that "You bees got morals, I got money." And it made me think, like, can you be friends with someone that doesn't share the same morals as you? Like, what really is morality, honestly? Like, so we do money, is money morality? Are we putting money over morality? Like, I'm
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird thing to say.
you can't have both.
You don't have to choose between money and morality. You can have money
Yeah.
and be morally sound. But to say that you have to choose between them, I think it's not true, and just a poor way to look at it. You know.
I think so I looked up what morals meant, in Oxford's definition of a moral is a
Mm-mm.
system of values, normative rules, or principles according to which intentions or behaviors are judged to be good or bad, right or wrong. Such judgment can arise from cultural, religious, or philosophical beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at that definition, I thought to myself, somebody can make money immoral.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what it's like. I don't know if I could be friends with someone whose morals was dictated upon money. And that's
Mm.
it.
Yeah, that's so sad. That's so sad because there's so many things in life that are more important than money. I mean, money is very, very, very important. But if you kill my dad, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about you.
Money
You know what I'm
won't,
saying?
yeah.
Money won't bring my dad back. You understand what I'm saying? If you were to hurt someone in my family, no amount of my money would equate to making that worth it to me, you know, or doing something ill to someone I love, or, you know, there's no amount. If I said, I'll give you money, I give you $5 million, but tomorrow X person has to die.
Yeah.
What does money even mean? Who cares? Like, no, that's not gonna, I don't care. Like, whatever, you know, or I give you this amount of money, but I get to, you know, abuse someone close to you, or I get to abuse you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's so many more things. Or, you know, you get this amount of money, but you'll have this disease for the rest of your life. It's just like, no, money isn't everything. That just goes to show you it's just not. So even though it's very important to how we are able to live, um, like when it comes to morality, right and wrong, abuse, you know, harming people, crime, you know, taking. If it was like, hey, you get all this money, but if you take this deal, I get to blow up this country. Like, no, everything.
I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just like, it's ridiculous, but that
No.
happens too. Like, people are willing to
Yeah.
sell their firstborn. Where you think
Yeah.
that
For
saying
for
came
a
from?
dollar. For
Yeah.
and it's just like what are you crazy? Like how can you enjoy these resources knowing that you how can you enjoy that knowing that you hurt all these people? Like, that takes away the joy from having things, because the way you got it, it's just like, I don't even want it. Like, if I don't get it the right way, I don't want that. That don't make me happy. And so I think that's why we see a lot of um celebrities just 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 destroyed mentally and emotionally, and, you know, hooked on like a lot of substances, because, you know, all the things they did to get to the top. And I'm not saying everybody does this, but if you sell your soul basically to get to the top, and you realize at the top this is nothing, like, I did all this and it wasn't worth it.
What does it
that's
profit a
that's got to
man?
be
Yeah.
that's
Gain the
got to
whole
be
world.
like destroy you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, did all the stuff, or compromise. Let's just say you compromise your morals, only to get to the top and realize it, it did nothing. Like, I might as well have stayed. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, I'm famous, but I'm miserable. Or yes, I have money, but that
Right.
money don't. I can only go
It didn't change your reality internally. It just changed your
right
reality externally. Like, now you have
externally.
money and you can do and buy whatever you want, but on the inside you still feel
I'm
empty
still
and hollow
right.
and
I'm still broken
sad,
and depressed or whatever,
lonely.
whatever.
Yeah.
And you can only take so many trips. You can only buy so many things. You can only, and you still sad, and you still lonely, and you still don't have nobody. And I think Megan Thee Stallion, she talked about this on one of her albums. She was just like, or one of her songs about her, her alcohol, her battle with alcoholism, and all the people that
Mm-hmm.
passed away, her parents
Mm-hmm.
not being around, and how lonely, how broken she was. How she struggled with depression and stuff like that. But she was on top of the world. We look at people like Whitney Houston, on top of the world, highest,
Mm-hmm.
but still miserable, still hurting, still broken, married her, and just still, struggling with substance
You
abuse,
got
like
Michael
still,
Jackson who had to do sleeping pills because he couldn't sleep at
yeah.
night, and you got
You
Robin
have
Williams who made the whole
Robin
world laugh,
Williams,
and Heath
Britney
Ledger.
Spears, and all these
Yeah.
people who are literally on top of the world, at the highest level of success. But I saw Devon Franklin. He just did a message on this, and he basically was talking about success doesn't equal inner healing. Like, you can have all the success you want in the world, but if you don't have inner healing, like, it does, they do not equate. So you really do need to do this inner healing work and really work through your issues, and out of that is what he was saying. The byproduct was that you will prosper. But like,
Mm-hmm.
if you have success doesn't mean you're that automatically changes your inward soul and your health, the
Mm-hmm.
health of your soul and the health of your mind. That's separate. Those are two separate things. So you
Mm-hmm.
might be very successful. Look at Puff Daddy, very, 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 very extremely successful. But we all are seeing now that inside,
How sick he was.
he was very sick, very, lacked
Sadistic, some would
morals.
say.
Lacked morals, and really moving in a place of brokenness. But he was very, very successful. So at the end of the day, does that success outweigh the morals? No, because look at his legacy now. If we're choosing between morals and success, he was extremely successful. But him lacking morals and lacking an ethical code and lacking, human, just care for each other in a way, and living a way that, honored his morals, it left his legacy broken. So
Mm-hmm.
it really didn't matter. So basically, he did all that for nothing, because it's going down a drain, and he's actually worse off. Because it's one thing to live a crazy life and nobody know, but it's another entirely different thing to be at the top and to fall. If you fall, you at the bottom. Ain't nobody gonna know. Ain't nobody gonna hear.
Well,
But if
that's
you at the
that's
top
why it's
and you
harder.
fall,
It's the higher you are, the harder the fall for sure. That's
to be at the
physics.
top, you worked your way all the way to the top,
Mm-hmm.
dedicated your life to doing all this stuff, and sacrifice whatever to be at the top, only to, because of your lack of morals. I think we all know by now that
Mm.
that's
Do
not the
we
right
all
one.
know?
I'm saying, I think we just
I don't know
let
if we
this.
do.
I know, same by what she's saying, she doesn't know, but I think this has taught us all that it's not worth it. Like, to sacrifice your morals to get to the top, only eventually it's gonna come out, and it's only gonna be a fall. So it's not something that will be lasting. You can, if you keep your morals intact and don't compromise, you can have and go the slow route and take the stairs. You can have something that lasts.
I so I'm hoping that this is what will happen from this, but this is not the first time we've seen a fall, and it hasn't. It didn't necessarily change a nation's view on still selling their mother for success or whatever.
Yeah, man.
So I'm hoping that this is a little different for sure. For me, when I think about morality, and I've always said this because of the basis of the definition of morality, which is rooted in it can be rooted in a lot of things: culture, your area, background, all kinds. There isn't necessarily a universal definition for it, which why there's this disparity, and it leaves these room for gaps where people are like, well, this is okay, that's not okay, or because for some people they're like, if I have to do this now to set myself up for success later, then what's the problem? Like if I have to do something that I'm not comfortable with now, like let's take for instance, I've seen women talk about they go to Dubai and do things to get a bag, per se, sexual things that they necessarily wouldn't do in reality or they want to do. But you get $10,000 here, $20,000 there, and they're like, well, this $20,000 helped me build my business, or it helped me, get out of poverty, or help my family feed my kids and stuff like that. I think when you have a set of standards, which I think fall into the same scale of morality, it helps you to understand the decisions that you're making better. And I don't think people think about their moral compass. Like what is your standard moral compass? I don't think people have a list that they can give off.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that is one of the benefits of having faith and having faith in like subscribing to a faith like Christianity, because it is just a clear list of things like, hey, yeah, thou shalt not. Hey, this is Jesus, and then Jesus sums it up like, hey, love God and love people as yourself. Would you
Mm-hmm.
want that done to you? Okay, no, then you probably shouldn't do it. And I think that is the benefit and why, like, just being a Christian it does provide a level of comfort, because it's just like I see, and they as you live it out, you're like, man, that makes sense why he says don't do that, because that leads to this. You know what I'm saying? And so, for
Mm-hmm.
to your example, I think I think that those morals are more than just about you. We can come from just a selfish perspective and just say, hey, I got to get my money. I got to get my bag. I got to do what's best for
By any
me
means necessary.
by any means necessary. But nobody thinks about the next generation. And if we look at
Mm.
the Bible, like God is always speaking about the next generation and the people after you and the kids to come and the seeds and this person that's come and your seed. And so I think that's the powerful part, because yes, you can go to Dubai and you can get you a bag and do whatever to get you a bag. But what are you going to tell your daughter? You can't tell her how to do it, because what did you do? You compromised your soul to do it. So what is she gonna do? What
I
what what lesson can you share with her so that she doesn't end up
that's
like you? You don't have
that's
a lesson.
good. That's good. I think the correlating part of what you just said, I just have to interject this here,
Hmm.
is you said that the Bible talks about generations a lot, and then I don't think a lot of people think until they have that. When you start having children, and the reason I think about that is because I have seen many of interview from a celebrity who has been asked about actions that they've done and whether they would want their seed to do it, and they would say
And
no.
they don't want them
They
doing
don't
it.
want them anywhere near. And I don't think we think about the fact that you think you're doing this to better your life and for your next generation, but generations repeat. This is why history repeats
They
itself, because
repeat themselves.
generations repeat themselves. They do
Yeah.
what they see and they know from the generation past them. So I think that's really pivotal to think about. Like we don't
Uh,
need to wait until we have someone really to answer to in that
yeah.
sense to start making those moral compass
And,
decisions.
and, and truly think about the drug dealer mentality that says, hey, I got to feed my family by any means necessary, even though it's ruining half the
You're
community.
feeding your family, but you're killing thousands of families.
Right. And you're ruining your community that your kids are going to grow up in. And so yes, you are doing what you got to do,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time creating this community, creating this life
Mm-hmm.
um that is going to ruin your kids, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think we kind of see that. What's the Snowfall? I don't remember the
Franklin.
last. I don't remember the.
Franklin
I
White,
didn't see
yeah.
the
It
last season.
is. Oh, the last season actually really, I will say Snowfall was a great show because of the way that it brings it full circle. Because
Full circle.
that last
Full
season really
circle.
showed. I don't know if you have plans on watching this, so I don't want to ruin it. But
But I mean, I
yeah,
kind of get what happened. Somebody told me, but basically, it just went to show you that all he did, all the sacrifice and all the labor, all the stress, all the things he went through to make this money and to have this lifestyle, only
hmm
ended up ruining his community and ruining himself
he
at the end
is
of it.
back on the same block he
On the
starts
same,
on.
the
You know what I'm
irony,
saying?
the
It's like
irony.
that yeah.
Live this fast life to get these things and have the only to
Because
end
he
up
starts
boom
off
back at
with
the bottom.
I think that's a great example because he kind of does start off with a moral compass a little bit. I don't want
He
to do this.
tried.
I'm not going to
He
do that.
tried.
But you can't do that in certain
Can't do
atmospheres.
that.
It's just not possible.
It's not
And he
right.
learns that very fast. Like,
Yeah.
I'ma just have to do this.
Yeah. It
I think the more we go against our natural moral compass, the more desensitized we become and the more susceptible we become to doing things that don't align with what we really want to do.
yeah. And you can see like they have the saying there's no honor among thieves. If you're among thieves, there is no honor. You try to be
I'm a
honorable,
thief.
but
You
there's
mad at me
no
for
code
stealing?
here. You think you gonna have this code? It's kind of not. These if you're in a cutthroat situation, it's all bets are off. Every man for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that that is when the Bible. I could speak from that being my moral compass. Like when the Bible talks about the generations, your seed and taking care of your children, the children's children. God's not just thinking about you. You, it's more than you. It's not just
It's
you. Do you
plenty.
know? It's generational. Do you know within you is an egg, and within that egg is your granddaughter? You know what I'm saying? Like in that egg is an egg.
It's
You know
like
what
the
I'm saying? In the
Fabergé
DNA,
eggs that just keep opening up.
right? In your DNA right now is the DNA of like two other generations after you. So your choices affect how you eat, how you live, how you choose to live your life, the anguish, all of that is in your DNA that you're about to pass on 2 generations from now. So it just goes to show you that we cannot just live this selfish. Well, I gotta get mine, and by any means, blank everybody else. It don't matter. No, because you're creating this world that your kid is gonna grow up in. The impact that you're making, your kids are gonna grow up in. So I should look at what can I do. It sounds corny, but what can I do to make the world better for my kids? Like honestly, for the kids that are coming after me. Like I was talking. It was I can't remember who was saying that, but they were talking about how they're building all these trees. They're planting all these trees, and that the people that planted all the trees, they're never going to see the trees. The trees are not going to be there by the time they die. Like these trees are not going to come up for like 50 something more years, and these people are
Mm-hmm.
older. But they gave all this and did all this sacrificing to plant all these trees for the future, a future that they're never even going to get to experience. But that's the kind of life that we kind of have to live. Like, hey, one day it's going to be some people, and my kids are going to look back and say, man, my great grandmama Tara, she she did her
She
thing out
did a
here,
big one.
and, and she did her big one out here, and because of her, like our lives are different, and that's all it really takes is one
That's
one person for their lives to be. But think about if you brought shame to your family, like. Man, my great great grandmama Tara. Oh my God, that is so embarrassing. Like, and if you think about it,
in
like
certain
when
cultures, you gotta kill yourself if you bring
you,
shame to you. Just look, real
it's just
down.
like it's just like terrible. But in the celebrity realm, it's just like, man, your actions, yeah, you did all that, but they're affecting your kids. Not everybody looking at your kids, and everybody's always talking about, man, we
Mm-hmm.
feel so sorry for the kids that they're under this kind of
Mm-hmm.
scrutiny and da 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 da. And oh man, what a shame. Like how their kids, how's this gonna affect their kids and all of that. But were they thinking about that when they were doing it? No. And that's the kind of
Yeah.
things that we have to think about. Man, are my kids going to be proud of me? Is this something that society is going to hold over their head, or is a curse, or is this going to be a blessing to them? Am I putting them in a position to thrive, or am I putting them in a position to be damned? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you're asking people to have discipline, which is delaying instant gratification, patience. And you're also asking people to sacrifice, which a lot of people don't want to do.
Be selfless, honestly.
Yeah,
Honestly.
that's what you're sacrificing immediate gratification now for the future. So a lot of people don't
For
see
the
that.
future.
But a lot of people don't
Because
see the future. Some people are like, I'm never gonna have kids, or maybe I'm not. But it don't have to be your birth children that you're building for. You
yeah.
could still be building for a generation that didn't come from your womb.
Think about it. I hate to use this example, but so one person can go into a school and blanket
Yeah, and
or
destroy.
and destroy. Then you have another person who chooses to build schools with their life. Do you understand? We all have the
The
ability and the
choice.
capacity to make generational, forever impact on the world. That is within
Mm-hmm.
our ability, right? If
Yeah,
you have the capacity to go up in there a school, you have the capacity to go and do something to help build a school, to help tutor in a school, to help children, to whatever, whatever.
yeah,
But we all have choice and we all have capacity. And so what I'm saying is, what are you gonna do with yours? Like literally, what are you gonna do with yours? And how
yeah,
is your life going to impact the world, whether it's your children or somebody else's children? And we gotta be it's more than money. Money is great. Money can do a lot of things. But if you have money and you have no morals and you out here doing anything to anybody and just being a walking demon around, that ain't what you want. You don't want to die like that. And nobody wants that. You know, people live that way because honestly, I don't think a lot of them know any better. I
yeah,
think a lot of them are lost and they think that that's what life is about. But when you come up for air and you realize that life is so much more than just parties and money and things, how is your children, how is it impacting the next generation is what's most important. And good morals set up the next generation to thrive.
yeah,
When politics is terrible and it's corruption, what happens to the countries in the future? They eventually the political system crumbles, and what does that do to the country? It puts them in third war, it puts them in, in poverty, it puts them in war, it puts them in terrorism. So you can't just be out here living immorally and thinking, oh, I could just do whatever I want, it's not going to affect anybody. Yeah, and it's not only just going to affect somebody, it's going to eventually hit your house, your own house. So
I don't think people get that though.
we
I
should.
don't think people know it'll eventually circle back around to you. And we
You
think we're
won't
so.
escape it.
I
I don't care how
think
many bunkers you get built.
that's really good to tie into again what the purpose of this podcast is, because we think we're so far removed from one another, but we're not. The
We're not.
decision you make will affect. Look at the pandemic. Every man for themselves, right? Okay, so you buy a 20-year supply of tissue that you'll never use, and now my family can't have any because you just want to make sure that you're okay. You're so selfish. You buy not in abundance, but greed and overstock. Or
Hmm.
even on the back end of that, you buy it with intention to upsell me, knowing that
Hmm.
I don't have it, but it's a necessity. Like, we're not so far removed from each other as we think. We're
I
closer.
mean, and look at. I mean, it's just like you make all these decisions, and you have a kid, and you just let your kid do whatever. Well, as I might really raise my kid a certain way, to be morally sound, to treat people a certain way. Do you know our kids might end up in the same class?
Mm-hmm. Whoop. Sorry, I'm good.
And how you raise your kid is gonna affect how my kid. You understand what I'm saying? And my kid's gonna affect, and vice versa.
Or
Kid's
even
gonna affect
how
your
the
kid.
teacher was raised will affect both of our children because they're teaching our children the same thing.
You know, and so it just goes to show you that we all have a responsibility to learn. Number one, what is right and what is wrong morally.
And
Does this
really
create
accept that
more
as
pain for people?
responsibility.
We have a
Accept that as
responsibility.
responsibility.
That
Yeah.
it's my responsibility to learn, right? To grow. Even if my parents weren't a good teacher, I have to go after the information to learn,
Mm-hmm.
man, what is the way of life? How should I live a better life? How can I live a sound life that um brings health and healing to others, and in my opinion brings glory to your creator. Like,
Yeah.
man, you know what I'm saying? So, and then number two, it's our responsibility to the best within our ability to live a life that journeys to implement that on a daily basis. Nobody's
Yeah.
saying perfection, but it's a journey every day, man. How can I help my neighbor? Man, how can I be a blessing? Man, how can I, fulfill my purpose so that I can live a life that helps other people? Okay, man, how can I treat others with respect or kind of whatever?
Do you know that a lot of the world's problems as it pertains to poverty or homelessness could be solved with that mentality? How
Could
can I
be,
help the fellow person?
yeah, could be solved. Could be solved. And a lot of our world is broken. A lot of
Yeah.
places, like, why is our lawns, why are our, in front of our homes, it's just a patch of grass? Why isn't it food?
Where the
We
food.
could grow food,
Yeah.
but
But
for
then
whatever
how does the
reason,
world but then how do we make money off of you?
that's okay. But wouldn't that end homelessness though? Because for whatever back in the day, everybody had their own garden. Everybody had farm. A lot of people did that. But systematically, we were trained to, like, no, let's have a lawn that doesn't give us any food. You know what
And
I'm
then we
saying?
go to the
Let's
grocery store and buy the food that they
and buy the
supposedly
food.
grew.
When we could have just grew it and shared and gave and all that. So it just goes to show you that it's not just person to person, it's system wide. And that's why it's important that we become leaders, that people with moral and powerful minds that see how can we help each other are in leadership.
Mhm.
It's not just like, oh, you do it for yourself and let me just take care of my family. No, what about your neighbor's family? What about the kid down the street that don't have a dad, or don't have a parents? How is us being in leadership going to affect them? So, or influence or platform. A lot of times people in celebrity, they have platforms and they just, that ain't, don't let your child watch me. That's their business. That's your, you be a better parent.
I'm not responsible.
I'm not
I'm
responsible for your
nobody's.
kid. Blah blah blah. I'm just
You
here to
don't
be
have to be
entertainment.
responsible for my kid. And I can do everything in my power to not have them watch you. But at the end of the day, if a viral moment is a viral moment, we could do everything we want to. You know how many times I try to get away from this $1 Million Baby song? I can't. If I'm anywhere near social media, eh, I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna see it on posts that it don't make no sense on. You is talking about something that don't got nothing to do with it. Why is this the song? So there's no way to get around. And I think again that comes back to we don't want to take the responsibility for it,
Don't
right?
want to
It's
take the
just too
responsibility.
much. I don't want to have to be morally, because when you start thinking about morality, it starts thinking about I have a
I
responsibility
have a
to
responsibility, and I can't just do whatever I want.
pay attention to what I'm doing, what I'm
Yeah, I
outpouring,
have.
what I'm
I have to live
producing.
for more than myself.
And I don't want to do that.
And I don't want to do that.
But you
And
need to.
I know, he get a lot of slack, and we talk about him often, but I think that's one of the reasons why Michael Jackson will be remembered in a certain way, even with all the, things
The
that surrounded him
scandal and
and
everything.
all of the
Yeah.
scandals that surrounded him. When he got on that microphone, what did he talk about? We have to
Talk about,
talk the children.
yes. The
When he got on the
children telling
the
us that the system don't
future,
care about us.
the
Telling us,
future, the plants, the animals. He talked about the world,
he talked
how we
about,
having a better world in the
yeah,
future.
man in the mirror.
Man in the
Even Dirty
mirror.
Diana, like, she's saying this, and I don't want to go home with her, and she trying to make me go home with her, and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go home.
So and no,
Like,
but at the same time, he was entertaining and all that. But when he
hmm
got on the microphone to
world
accept his
messages.
award, he would had a message in his message that we have to protect the children. We have to save the children. There are people that can't eat. What are we doing about the homeless?
Hmm
People always talk about how he would go when he be in these other countries. He would like secretly go to the hospitals and secretly go to the orphanages, and nobody really knew, but that he was doing that, and
Yeah,
feeding and take care of these kids and orphanages. Like that is what you're supposed to do with celebrity. Like that is what
your
celebrity
platform, your
is for.
influence.
Your
And I don't think
influence to
people
help people.
understand that there is a responsibility that comes with influence. Influence means to be able to influence generations, to be able to show them
Yeah.
what they should and shouldn't do. There's a
Yeah.
responsibility that sits with that.
Responsibility. So it's just like that is when we look back on it and we say, man, he still is yeah, he was a but it was more than that. It was so much more than that, because when he got on the Super Bowl, if you ever watched that, it's like all the children around and all the different colors and with the little worlds and all that. And it
Hmm
was a message that, like, yes, we're entertainment, but the message is that we need to remember this. This is why. This is why we're really
This is
here.
what's
Like,
actually
think
going on in
about
the
the children.
world.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's think
I
about the children.
I saw something that said something along the lines of backstory of when he recorded the video for "They Don't Really Care About Us" when he was in that country, and he was actually in what you would consider the slums, which was a dangerous area. And because they knew his message and what he was capable of, he had protection from people within that area. So he was able to go and like do that video without,
Because they were fans. Like the
because they were,
gangs were like his fans.
yeah, they were fans,
We're
but they
fans of
were
his wife.
fans because they knew he was good people, for
Good.
lack of
And
better
like good.
terms.
Like
He
had a
was
good
good
message.
people.
Yeah.
Yes. They knew that he wasn't going to come here, try to use them, try to clout or
Yeah.
whatever. They knew he was going to be about something.
Yeah. And I
So,
think inherently within ourselves, we respect. We might be entertained by mess sometimes, but at the end of the day, we respect
you're
those
going to
people
respect, yeah.
that stand for moral truth and say, "Hey, you may or may not like what I have to say. You may or may not agree, but I am about what's going to protect the future for you and the future for me and the future for our children." So, I think at the end of the day, morals protect the future. Like morals protect the children who are the future.
I think that's such a good tagline because we think, oh, you need money to change things. But if you give someone who's immorally
Money
money, if you give them someone who's immoral the money, they're not gonna do what's needed
is
to. So you need to have the basis of
yeah.
that. People who have good moral compass, people who are willing to say not everything has a price.
Yes. Yes.
You cannot put a price on this.
You cannot put a price on this. You cannot put a price on this. You cannot put a
And
price
mean it and really stand on that business
and
and be
stand
like,
on business.
no, I'm dead serious. I'm not just saying
Yeah.
that to be cute.
Over my body, like I'm not doing it. And if that's what it's gonna take, then you just take me now because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Y'all let the chips fall where they may, because we not doing that over here. So I think moral integrity protects the children, protects the future. Look at Nickelodeon. Look at all the stuff that's coming out with Nickelodeon.
Man,
All this
I'm
type
waiting
of
for
stuff.
Disney.
You know what I'm saying? When and how it affected those actors and how it affected them, and look at them. You understand what I'm saying? All the some of their lives are like a mess, like completely destroyed because of the
Never
what they
recovered.
suffered, what they suffered as children. So things being immoral and not right negatively affects the future, because those children will grow up and they are the leaders of our current society. So if you messing over kids left and right and like, well, F it, like I can do whatever I want, like it's my life, get a bag, get this, whatever, whatever, don't nobody care.
Yeah,
Your future is sealed. You're literally selling out the future
yeah.
to the highest bidder, which is going to sell you out, you going down the river too. So don't think you exempt. You will suffer
Everybody
too.
involved. Everybody,
Everybody
because
going
nobody
down.
acts alone.
Nobody acts alone, and everybody's going down. So it serves you no purpose to not stand against, to sell out your future and your community.
Even the
It
people
hurts
who
you in
were
the end.
quiet, there. I want to just touch on this real quick because even in watching those documentaries and looking at it, there isn't safety in silence. And this is a famous quote: "Your silence will not protect you." But that's real. Even if you knew it and you didn't say anything out of fear or whatever, you're still held responsible.
You still
And
have
this is
responsible.
how immorality thrives,
Mm-hmm.
from silence, because you don't
Yep.
say anything. This is how you have the generations of people who are getting molested over and over and okay, well,
Yeah.
Uncle Tim did this, and no disrespect to
Yeah.
people named Tim, I'm just using that name, but like did this to this generation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just, and nobody says anything because of shame or
Yeah.
fear, whatever. You're allowing that immorality to thrive and
Yeah.
grow and get
Yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger. And you think, okay, now Uncle T has passed away. It's done. No, Uncle T had children. And now the children may have be dealing with that. And now it's just continuation and continuation. Speak up, even in those moments where maybe it's not you committing the immorality, but if you're in the atmosphere of it, or you see it, or you're like, nah, that ain't really right.
Yeah, and we gotta
It's
stand up. We gotta stand up. It's like we gotta be bolder. You know, we have to be bolder and say like, nah, that's unacceptable. Like, no, you're not gonna do that around me. If you want to do that, I can't force you to do nothing, but you're not gonna do it around me. Period. And I
You're
can't
not gonna
stop
do it
some
around me.
stuff. Some stuff we can't stop people because they have free will. You know, because they get the right. But you can
But I
destroy
can
your
tell
own
you ain't
life,
gonna
but
do it around me.
you're not gonna do it to my kid. You know, I'm protected. You know,
Think
so.
about the people. Think about the people who show reverence when they're in the presence of a reverend or a pastor. You may be cussed like a sailor, but when you're around that pastor, do you use them same cuss words? No, you know that it's not acceptable in that presence. So you know who you can and can't do these things around. And I
Yeah.
think immorality thrives in situations where they feel comfortable. The more we make people uncomfortable, this is weird. You're weird. You'll stop doing it. Bring
And
back
I think
shame.
bring back shame. Have you no shame?
Bring it back. Have you no shame? Bring it back.
But I think I don't necessarily know shame is the answer, because shame just sends people into hiding. So
I
now
don't
you
want to
just
bring
doing
back
it, but now
shame
you
in,
hiding
yeah,
it.
I don't want to bring back shame in the sense of like condemnation, but there needs to be a sense of,
Light. I think there needs to be a sense of light, like shed light on it. And just, I think the fact that a lot of these things are being exposed is good. It's a cleansing for society, because it goes to show you this stuff is
make it
not going to get you where you want to
unnormal.
be.
Make it unnormal. We've normalized a lot of
Yes.
stuff. Start
We have,
making more
yes.
things unnormal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, this stuff is not okay. What about this makes you think that this is acceptable? It's not, and we need to bring that back, us being bold and saying, hey, this is hurting the future. This is hurting our kids. This is hurting you. But I think we also need to couple that with education. Like, you don't know another way of life. And that's probably why you're still acting in this way. So you need enlightenment. You need a new way to live because you literally don't know any better. You literally don't know that there's a better way to live. And so, not just we need to stand, but I think we need to enlighten people as well and empower them to say, "Hey, yeah, I used to live like this, and then I got an awareness, and it was just like, yeah, that's probably not what I should do because if I keep going down this road, I'm gonna destroy my life. My kids are gonna be messed up. If I'm destroyed, what happens to my kids? They
That's a
don't
whole
have a
nother
mom.
conversation
They
though.
don't have
Having
a
the
dad.
yeah.
You know,
Having
and
the authority and the courage to speak, to say I was one way and I'm no longer that way is a different story.
yeah.
Like,
For sure, but we have to say, hey,
mhm,
like I can't do this, and then I have to learn a new way. Like I literally
mhm,
have to have a changed
yeah,
mindset, and I have to do some work so that I can live a better life, so that my kids can have a better life. Because if you don't beat it, it's going to your kids. If you
beat
don't
it.
overcome it, is going to
Mhm,
your kids. If you don't address it and you're passing it on whether you acknowledge it or know it or
yeah.
not. It's not even question. It's like by default. So, yeah.
I will say I do appreciate what's happening within these more current generations, like as we are becoming parents and different things like that. I do see more conversational aspects
I
happening,
love that.
whereas we may have wanted to know more about our parents and their personal life and what they really were going through, but that's just not how they grew up. They never
Yeah.
really thought to
Stay in a
share
child's
that.
place.
Yeah, whereas now you have the parents having the conversation saying, I've been there, I've done this, or not just the don't do it because I know it's bad, but hey, I've been down this road. I know what you're feeling. Here's real world example of me. I do love that the conversational aspect is being brought up
It's
for
growing.
sure. It's very
Yeah.
much so growing.
And I think us in the generation that we are, us going to therapy, right? Us
Hmm.
getting learning more about emotional awareness and healing
Putting
and
thought to
mental
words.
health. Yeah,
Yeah.
mental health and dealing with mental issues in a community and
Hmm.
parent, all these relationship with parents. And then our generation going to our parents and say, um so we love you, but there were some things that we struggle with that has influenced our relationship, and I can see now it's influencing the next generation. So I just wanted to like address that a little bit. And so we're kind of like, I feel like our generation is kind of this like go between that's helping to heal because we're the ones that aren't educated
We
enough.
became emotionally aware. We started to have the emotion and let the record show. Because Gen Z, you think you did it? No, the millennials did the hard work.
We
We
did
were
that. We did
actually
that.
the ones
We
who
really
put thought to words and had it. Y'all just using buzzwords right now. No disrespect, but respect your elders.
did.
That's all I got to say. Continue.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, what's like the fact that our kids now, Generation Z, say things like that is a norm for them to say, "I'm in my healing era." The fact that that's like a trend.
It's a trend. First of all, what you healing from? Relax.
Right, y'all ain't been through nothing yet. But anyway, but y'all did have COVID, so that's a lot. That's a lot.
COVID,
Um,
yeah.
but we had
Yeah.
9/11. We had everything. Okay,
We
anyway,
have lived through about four world.
Yeah.
huge world events
Huge.
in our
So
lifetime, which is very unheard of when you think about generations.
so the grace of God for us to be able to come together and have awareness to like deal with this mental stuff and health and stuff like that. So the fact that this is normal or everybody has this awareness of that is just such a blessing because that was not there for our parents. You know,
Hmm.
they weren't going to therapy. They were just trying to survive. They were just trying to
Doing
put
the
food on the table.
literal best they could with what they
Literally
had.
with what they had. They just wanted to keep food on the table and lights on.
That's why I said
You
earlier,
know?
you have to, in everything you do it in love. You have to give grace. You
Yes.
can have two things can be true at the same time. You can be
Yes.
dealing with your trauma, but also understand the context of that trauma. And I'm not saying this gives a pass to the person or the thing that caused you trauma. It's just
Yeah.
like hurt people. And you have a song about
But
that.
I do have a song about that. Check it out on Tarrah Global Music, my Instagram. But I do. It's a very powerful song, and on YouTube. So Tarrah
Mm-hmm.
Global Music on YouTube. It's called "Hurt Ones," and so listen to it. Commercial. And so, um, but what I want to say is, in the Black community, our parents just got out of Jim Crow. Like they're not that far removed from
Literally,
slavery.
my mother was alive watching the television when Martin Luther King
Martin
Jr.
Luther
was
King got
shot
killed.
and killed. She
So
remembers it vividly. Her parents
yeah,
marched with them.
marched,
So
marched,
it's like you have to
marched.
think. That's why I said context. It matters. Context matters. You cannot
Our parents couldn't buy homes in certain communities. They couldn't get
couldn't get
loans. They couldn't
loans,
jobs
couldn't
in
get
certain communities. So
jobs, couldn't go grocery shop in certain places, couldn't go to certain restaurants, couldn't go to certain school.
certain
My
schools
mother remembers when her school got segregated
desegregated.
or desegregated. Yes, she
Yeah.
remember when it got desegregated.
So to think that they were literally just coming off the back, like literally
And you're healing
just
from
a,
you're in your
a
healing era.
generation
Okay,
out of slavery. Literally. Slavery here, parents. You know what I'm saying? Like
for a lot of
literal
us, yeah.
slaves. Them are parents. You know what I'm saying? So a generation or two from slavery, depending on where you grew up. If you grew up in the South, you maybe one. Grew up in the North, maybe two, a couple.
My grandparents did not. My grandfather had a sixth grade level
Educated.
education, and my not the balloon celebration.
We're not celebrating that.
We not I don't know. I think I did something to trigger it, but anyway. And my grandmother had like a fourth or fifth grade celebration. Now they were able to
Yeah.
make a way out of no way and were successful, but you're talking about people who couldn't even read at a high school level.
High school.
My grandmother was alive, couldn't even get her own checking account without a man. She had to be
Got a
married
man.
to have her own checking account to be able to
Yeah.
access the money she was making.
Yeah.
You gotta think about
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You have to. So our generation being able to do have some awareness of healing. Yes, we have some trauma because
Who
and
doesn't
I grew up in a
though? Is
family
what I
where my family did
who
a great
does it?
job.
Yeah,
Who
who
doesn't?
doesn't?
But if you're coming from your family like a generation from slavery, it's going to be some trauma. Not even
It's
that
different.
your parents inflicted intentionally, but just from the culture and from the systems that they were under. Like if
Hmm.
I can't feed my family, that's a problem. If I can't put my family in a safe environment, that's going to affect them mentally. If
My
I
main
can't
goal, if my main goal as a parent is to make sure you arrive back
survive
home alive.
safely
That used to
alive,
be a saying for our parents. Their parents used to tell them, "My main goal is for you to make it home."
make
That's
it home
it.
alive. That's it. After that, listen, I did the best I could. But now it's just like, okay, we want our kids to be alive and we want them to thrive. Okay, we've grown. We want our kids to thrive. You know what I'm saying? They just want them to be alive. Now we want our three, they just want, that generation wanted them to be alive. Then my mom and dad wanted us to survive. And then we
Now
want our
we all
kids to
want us to
thrive.
thrive. We're
So
building. We're getting
we're
better and better
building.
and
We're
better.
getting better.
You know why? Because the people have morality.
Yes, somebody had to say, not on my, not
Not
on
on
my.
my watch.
Somebody had to say that. Somebody had to stand on business
They
and say,
stood
not on
on
my
big there with
watch.
a big Nike Air
Thank you,
Force
Martin Luther
white
King, and everybody
white
on my
Air
Twitter.
Force One. A big Nike Air Force One. Not on my watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what, saying that to say, look at what we're going through. We want our kids to thrive. And now we've entered the digital age. And
Man.
not only do we have a boatload of opportunity, we also have a boatload of problems because with technology comes opportunity, but with technology comes problems as well. We have stronger drugs and stronger technological advancements that affect the brain in a different way, than just outside environments. Our kids are on social media and how it's affecting them mentally and socially and all the different things that they have to endure. We didn't
Hmm.
have to worry about that in
We
school. We
didn't.
just, if something happened in the lunchroom, you had to hear it. You
You
didn't get
must
to
have
have
you
to
if
see
your
it,
fight happened, you either saw it or you heard about it in the next
or it
period. And
was
that was it.
over.
It was
All you
over.
had was
People
eyewitness
was fighting
testimony.
and you ain't hear about the fight till a week later. You was like, such
Yeah,
and got into a fight? When did they get into a fight?
all you hear was eyewitness testimony. Girl, did you
Eyewitness
hear? That's all you had.
eyewitness
Now you got
testimony is what it
video
was. Which is
that will live on
crazy.
forever on the internet.
Forever. Let me do a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to understand how the internet works. Al Gore's internet is forever. If you put it out
Forever.
there, if
Digital
you
footprint.
put it, the digital footprint is not erasable. You'll never erase it. It will live on forever. It don't matter who you are. Even that picture of Beyonce falling down them steps, she has done her best to scrub that from the internet. But if you search it hard enough, you'll find it.
Yeah,
It's gonna live on. So be careful
forever.
what you're putting out there. Because in 20 years, when you look back with maybe a child, maybe a great, who knows who you look with, a spouse, a dog, a cat, who knows? Are you gonna want to see what you put out?
But it's so many other problems. So with technology to add to that, so many other problems. Now you got pornography accessible at a fingertip, at the
Yeah.
press
Let me tell you
of
something
a
about that.
button.
Twitter,
And on
you
Twitter.
on my list
Yeah, you can see. That's why I
because
ain't on Twitter like that no more.
I can't leave it. It's just so funny.
But
It's
you can, it
just too
literally, you
much.
can be scrolling
It's
just
too.
a minute
But you be
pages.
scroll. There is nothing about the curation of my feed that should allow any of that. I have blocked words. I have blocked people. I have done all kind of stuff. I'll be scrolling. Funny, funny, funny. Boo! Morning wood. Who asked for that? Who? Who? Why is this so
And
accessible?
on Instagram, and it's just like, dang, like that's weird. Like I didn't ask to see none of that. And at first, your page started off with encouraging posing, and next thing I know,
You
y'all
ain't
just
got no
doing
clothes on.
whatever.
You know that viral sound that was going around. People like, where your clothes at? That's how I be feeling. Where your clothes at?
We didn't have to deal with that.
Nah,
At
you had to
12.
have subscriptions. You had to. You didn't even go to sites on your computer out of fear that it would cause viruses.
Yes, it would. It would cause virus. But now you can literally, at the press of a button on your phone, have access to whatever your
Yeah,
little mind want to see, at
which is
whatever given moment.
dangerous.
And that
Dangerous.
is adding to the dilapidation and the breakdown of people, which breaks down society. So now we have, with technological advances, we have also a boatload of new problems that are
It's
affecting
just
our kids.
access. It's a catch 22 because you want people to have access to information, but you can't limit the amount of access that they have.
Yes, you
You have to
can.
you let me rephrase that.
China be doing no.
The I was about to
They
say
be they be
I was
limiting.
about to say it's either at a governmental level or a
Yeah,
household level
yeah,
where that access is limited. So
yeah.
you either have to I had to put a restriction my nephew is on my plan. He was making calls internationally to a country that was not included in my plan. I get my phone bill. I'm like, where does extra charge come from? I just knew I was hacked. I'm like, this got to be a mistake. I asked that lady for the time, the date, how long the call. I needed to know exactly what, and I took it right back to my sister. And you know what now is there? A block. He won't be calling anybody out of the country at this
Oh,
point.
yes.
Like, what are you
I
doing?
mean, think about it. I mean, as a young girl, you had temptations on talking to the wrong
Mm.
boy, right? But now
Yeah,
you
we
can
had the
talk to
chat lines too. We had the
the
chat
chat lines. Yes,
lines.
the chat lines. But now it's like a grown man in your DM. I'll buy your purse.
Where's
I'll buy
Chris?
your
Where is Chris from
I'll buy you
Dateline?
that.
Where is he?
Or I can make money on OnlyFans from my house. You understand what I'm saying? But now your future could be compromised because your choices as a young
That's what
person.
I'm saying. Think about it. Really think. Don't let the moment or the immediate need dictate
Yeah,
the future
absolutely.
outcome of the decision that you make. I know. I think where we add value into this conversation for sure. We don't come from money. I was not impoverished. I'll say that. I did come from a family that was pretty well off. You have my mother in the medical field, my dad who was in the military. So I didn't want for anything, but as I've gotten older into my adult life and I've been on my own, I've had to build myself
On my
up. This isn't
own.
how it's supposed to be. She was on to something. She was on to something when she sang that, baby. Let me tell you something. It's not
Happy
how it's
birthday,
supposed to
Patty.
be. It wasn't how it's supposed to be. I feel that. I'm waiting. Because I'm not meant to be on my own. I'm not. But that's neither here nor there. But I've had to, as an adult, really pull myself up and really make a living for myself. And you too, like, you know what it's like not having things that you think are basic necessities growing up. So we ain't talking from a place where we don't know what it's like if somebody come with a check. You being an
How many
artist, you have had
opportunities
opportunities where people have tried to make you into somebody else that you did not want to be. They like, you
or work
got
with
this
producers
sound.
that's
Work with
just basically like,
producers.
or work with just men in general that are like,
So what you willing to do for this? You know what I'm
so
saying?
what you trying to do? Like
I'm trying
basically,
to
you
get you to
understand what I'm saying?
engineer. It's what I'm actually trying to get you. I'm trying to get in the booth and sing this song and get you to produce what I came in here for.
Yeah, and it's just tough. It's just like, and you have to, retain your integrity because yes, in the moment you could say, man, this could help me out.
You could have
Just
get, yeah.
selling myself out to be with somebody that's gonna help me financially. It's a temptation for
Yeah.
most women, unless you come from money or you've been able to make a living on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say at the level, and not to say you can't make a living, but at the level that you want, right? Because that differentiates.
Some
And so
people
it
don't
is
even
a temp.
sell money off the rip. They sell access. You want to get to such and such. But let me tell you something about how this works. First of all, men are bigger gossipers than women. It's gonna get around. One of the best pieces of advice that my mother gave to me when I was very young. I was going into high school. And she told me, she said, when my mother was a cheerleader's captain, all that, and she said, let me tell you something. I had homeroom with all the star athletes. We were in
Mm,
there, and them boys used to talk about those girls. And you do
talk.
not want to be one of the girls that they're talking about.
Their conquests.
So these, all this in these realms, they talk because you want to know why they talk, because they want to know who they can and cannot try.
Hmm.
Oh, you was able to get such and such. They come to
Let me
my
try it.
studio. Yeah, they coming to my studio next week. Let me try it.
Let
Oh,
me
you was
try it.
able to get such and such. They coming to my casting couch next. I'ma try it. I'ma do this, I'ma do that. Like, it's yet nothing secret. Nobody keeps anything to themselves. Think about how excited you get about something that you have been wanting to get and how you're bursting with the energy to tell someone. Just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
You literally have to like have a made up mind that like
A
I
made up mind.
choose to live my life in
Mm-hmm.
integrity, even if I gotta be down. Gotta be down for a season, gotta look stupid.
You gonna
You already
look
know.
right. Let me tell
Like,
you something. You
look
gonna look crazy for a
crazy.
moment. You gonna look
Look
crazy
crazy.
for a moment.
Look crazy. Even if I got, because the truth of the matter is, you could be online looking at such and such, and like, man, she has the best life. You know, she's just, living this amazing. You don't know what she's doing for that life. You do not know what that lady is
Hello,
compromising to do to
Cassie.
get
Just we just learned Cassie was getting beat down up and down
beat down
hallways, and we
in
thinking, oh,
broad
she with
daylight.
Diddy. Diddy is successful. He got money. He got access. And in broad daylight, you chasing me with a towel on in a hotel hallway. I'm running for my life. You don't know what these people are doing to get to where they need to go.
And the Bible is so true because there's so many verses that talk about it's better to have little, with morality and
Yeah.
integrity than everything with none of that. Like, it's better. Like, it's so much better. So I'm not saying you have to choose between money. You can have both, but you might have to take the stairs. You might have to really work and be down for some seasons to build, so that your what you have is not based on sinking sand, is not built on, some immoral, situation. You don't know what these people are doing to get to the level that they are. A lot of times you find out they do these biographies built stuff on drug money and built stuff on just crazy stuff, and you crying about, man, my business isn't taking off, and looking at the people across the street, meanwhile their business take off because they had seed money from God knows where. So I'm not saying that God can't do it. Of course he can, and of course, but it may not look how you think.
Yeah.
It may not look how you think, and you got to be okay with walking in integrity and waiting for your moment and being down some days and taking the high road and saying no and not accepting certain things because it compromises your integrity. You got to be okay with that.
That line never has an end. If you push the line once, it's going to continue to be pushed.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep it
Period.
up.
You're going to
You have
have
to
to
keep it
keep it
up.
up.
Yeah. If I
So
compromise to get it, I'll have to compromise to keep it. And I don't want to be that. I want to live and enjoy what I want to enjoy my blessings. I don't want to be tormented by my blessings. Like, man, you
I
sold out
finally
to
got
this.
what I wanted, and that's the biggest burden of my life.
It's the biggest burden. I can't enjoy it because it's just a
Yeah.
reminder of what I did to get it. It's just a reminder that I compromised. Like, every day I
Mm-hmm.
look at this, I see compromise. I see that I was not true to myself. But what would it be like if you stay true to yourself, stay true to your morals, stay true to who you are, honor God, honor your family, and you still made it? Man, you could enjoy it, and you could bring
Knowing
your
who you
your
are helps
people
with
up.
that. If you know who you are and whose
Yeah.
you are and where you come from, you are able to be like, that's not me.
Because the
I'm not.
truth is, if you take the long road and you make it, you can teach your kids, and they don't have to take the long road. You shorten the road.
Let me tell you
By
something. Nepotism gonna run rampant in my generation.
period. We
I'm
putting
gonna make
everything
it, and I'm
on it.
putting every. Y'all can say what y'all want about that little Kardashian kid. Y'all hating nepotism. It runs rampant everywhere. Okay,
Everywhere.
and so don't be mad because she
Don't be
used.
mad.
Yeah, She did pull strings because she had the strings to pull.
Oh,
Geppetto, dance, puppet, dance. Like, I'm pulling strings around here. I don't
I'm
care.
pulling
Nepotism gonna be at the top of my list. My kids, aunt, cousins, everybody coming. I don't care. I'm opening every door I can. We all running up the place. Shoot them up, shoot them
period.
up, shoot them up. We all running into the place. I don't care. Say what you want about me. That's a nepo baby, and is, and so,
But
and
here's
we'll
the
do it
thing.
again.
Here's the thing. It's one thing to put your child in a position they are not prepared. You have not taught
Yeah,
them. You have not, you know,
prepared them for where they're.
prepared them to
Yeah,
be in, and just because you're your kid. But it's another thing to instill things and teachings and values and cultivate the skills and grow and teach your kids and raise them up to lead, and
yeah,
then put your kid in that position. Those are two
yeah.
totally different things. And we're
So,
not saying just put your unqualified,
mm-hmm.
untried, undisciplined kid in a place of leadership, because that's going to bring the whole thing down. We
Right.
already
Don't make
know that.
Uncle Jay head of finance and he don't know how to count to 100. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But what we are saying is, you have, because you took the long road and you grew
Mm-hmm.
and you developed and you cultivated and you broke those generational curses. You can turn around and teach your kids that information, that wisdom, and so that they can grow and develop and cultivate, and so they can start farther than you were. They don't have to start from ground level, or they can
Mm-hmm.
start from all the way,
Because
above sea level.
what that will do, if you've fashioned them for the position you put them in, is that the way nepotism is supposed to work is that they're just supposed to have access to things that normally they wouldn't, and then they're able to build upon that on their own.
Hmm.
It shouldn't have to be a situation where we keep having to put them in position after position after position. No, I've fashioned you for this moment. Now I've gotten you in front of the people you need to be in. You're ready for it. Now you can build upon whatever your vision or dream or purpose is, and you just run with that. I think. Let me see who is a good definition of someone who has. I feel like has done that. I feel like I don't know if this is nepotism. I feel like Jordan Woods is a good example of that. Like, she had access because of her parents to certain people, and even with the scandal and everything that happened around her name, it didn't ruin her. She was able to still build upon what she could offer to the world. Now she has a clothing line and all these different things where she's just built her own way because she was able to still have access to the rooms that she needed to have access to.
I mean, what? Yes, yes. And then think about like what some people. I don't know. Maybe we could look up the definition of nepotism. But then some people would say just generational wealth and generational blessing. Because if I was remember watching Selling Sunset on Netflix, and the Oppenheim group and the two twins that own the
Right.
Oppenheim group, there are fifth generational real estate moguls.
Yeah, but they were able
Fifth,
to keep it going because they had the knowledge, they had the drive, they
right,
had, just like, I guess, the Hilton brand. You got Paris
right.
Hilton, you got her sister, all those people who keep it going after going after going. Yeah, for sure.
So like they didn't have to build from them. They got five freaking generations of wisdom in one family. So of course they're gonna regulate and kill the game, and I don't want to say it, but I mean they're gonna regulate and really like.
If they weren't prepared for that, though, I don't think they ever would have put them in that position.
Right, but they
Yeah.
taught them. I think the it's
You
not just
teach,
about the
yeah.
opportunity. Yes, the opportunity is amazing, and the access that you talked about is ridiculously amazing. But what is also just as important is that they have the knowledge. Like they literally have five
Right.
generations worth
Yeah.
of knowledge that they step into this opportunity with,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
so preparation plus opportunity equals success. Not only are these
Exactly.
people over prepared and well prepared, they have the opportunity. So that's all we want to be able to
Right.
give to our
That's why I
kids.
said fashion. I fashioned you
Yes,
for this moment. I'm not just put
yes,
you have been built up and cultivated and sculpted to be
yes.
prepared for the moment that I put you in. and you can do,
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. It's
Absolutely.
not just
But
you having the access, you have to know what to do when
yes.
you get the access.
But somebody in the Oppenheim family, great 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 granddaddy, made a decision to become a real estate person.
Yeah,
A real estate person. And he probably started from nothing. And he made a
absolutely.
decision that I'm gonna do this a certain way so that it can be intact for my
So he
children.
started from here, and now this family is like catapulted into,
So
yeah,
So what I'm saying is somebody has to make the decision to put themselves in a position to start something that will live beyond them.
hmm, yeah,
And if you do it with no morals, a lot of times, and no integrity, it's gonna fall, right?
yeah.
It's going to fall. It's going to be exposed as some. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And like we're seeing that with Puffy, like we're seeing that with some of these people that have built these big platforms and all this stuff, and based on shaky ground, and then it's getting exposed. And I'm not saying there are evil families that
Hmm.
are doing terrible things, because I'm sure there are, but I'm saying. It's just universal law that what's done in dark gonna come
Hmm.
to light. At some point, something's gonna be exposed. So
Everything
I'm
can be
saying
hidden forever.
it can't be hidden forever. So we have to make it. Maybe your parents didn't do it; they couldn't. But you can be the one in the family say, "Okay, I'm gonna set my kids up and my kids' up, and I'm gonna live my life in a way that I can put my kids on." Right? And have power and have integrity and I'm gonna learn the information so I can therefore disseminate it to my children, and so that they can turn around and teach their children. And so that we can be like an Oppenheim group. Like we can
Yeah.
be like those type of people. But somebody gotta make the choice. And if we just live in selfish, like, I got money, bump everybody else, that's we can't do that.
Yeah, I think
Back in the
that's,
day, they used to have something called a family crest, where they used to have like the crest and the values of the family. Like, we stand for respect and we stand for honor and we don't have that no more. What do
yeah,
you stand for? What do your family stand for? What y'all about?
yeah. I We're gonna have to wrap it up, but this is like
That's a good conversation. As my niece would say, conversation would it be. We gotta have a conversation.
conversation.
That was a good conversation.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a part two. We'll see, but hopefully you understand what we're saying in this. It
I'm
really
passionate about this subject
clearly
because I'm
tell the people
tired of it. No, I'm
sick
we
of
are the world.
this.
We are the children. The children are our future.
Okay,
I mean, I'm
Margaret.
very passionate about children and the future, and it's important to me.
We have to start taking more seriously the things that we leave behind for the generations to
Yeah,
come.
100%.
It's important, and our life is not just our own. It's going to
Yeah.
affect the people that come after us, and you need to
Yes.
start taking it as serious as it is. You're not just living for
Seriously.
yourself. You're not just responsible for your own self. There's generations that are going to be birthed, whether you birth them naturally or they're in your lineage or whatever. They're going to come after you.
Can I say this one last thing? One last thing. That is why we have to be brave enough to step out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
follow our dreams. Because it's not just our dream. It could be like you see these families that are in entertainment, families that are in real estate, families that are in pop, politics, families that are in education. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're the one. Maybe you're the one that's gonna set your family up for to have this incredible legacy, but it's all based on you starting that business that you don't even think is going to mean anything or anybody cares about. Oh, all I have is a cleaning business, but or all I have is I just want to make coffee, but then you freaking end up being Folgers. You know what I'm saying? Or I just want to open a little grocery store, and then you end up being the Waltons. it's not always obvious, and sometimes it starts small, and you might feel like it doesn't matter to anybody if I do this or not. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, but I'm here to say, if you look at the Waltons, or you look at Fojo, you look at the Hiltons, or you look at all these people, they started off small thinking what they did doesn't matter, and we all see the result of their bravery and their courage and their commitment to have a better life, and it changed not just them but like all the years to come. So be brave.
Yeah, nobody sees the extent of the legacy at the beginning.
Yes.
So
Yes.
know that your small contribution could lead to a bigger outcome that outlives you
Outlives.
generation after generation.
Long outlives.
We're gonna end with the quote of the day, which is morality is not the doctrine of how we make ourselves happy, but how we make ourselves worthy of happiness.
Mm.
Immanuel Kant is the author of that quote. You have tuned into another episode of the Friendship University podcast. We're hoping that this conversation resonates with you on some level. You know where to find us, but if you don't, we are at Funny Podcast on all platforms. That's at FUNIPODCAST. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. That is on TikTok. We are Friendship University Podcast on YouTube. You can catch these visuals every Friday. Friendship Fridays. Bam, 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 bam. Yes, it's been another lovely conversation with my co-host Tarrah Coble. Her handles will also be in the description box below. If you would like to check out her song that we referenced in this episode, Hurt Ones, Hurt People, Hurt People. It's a great song. It teaches you a lot about how if you heal yourself, we can heal each other. Yeah, that's another episode. Any final words? I think we're good.
We're good.
We're good. Peace out. Bye.